Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota. And with me today is Mr. Null of the Kiwi Farms.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Pretty good, despite it being very early in the morning. That's okay.
Well, I mean, that's what you keep saying. I'm pretty sure you're just in Wisconsin or whatever. And I don't buy this Europe stuff for a moment.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you ask, because the people from Virginia, they keep servicing my mom's old house. She doesn't even live there anymore, but that's where all the papers go, and nothing can persuade them to do anything else. So you're not alone in that.
What papers are all your
Oh,
threats of lawsuits and stuff?
no, all the actual servicing for their soon to be thrown out lawsuit goes to an old house that me and people from my family have not lived in for like over a year now.
Now, is this the Mountain Jews?
Yeah, it's the Mountain Dews, my favorite. They've like given up trying to actually sue me, or at this point, yeah, they've given up on that. They're suing the judge for they literally seem to believe that I am a high-ranking Mason, and I am using my Masonic ties to convince the judge to throw out their very, very stable and accurate constitutional complaints against me.
Why?
And
These are special people.
oh, they've been. Here's the thing. I think they've kind of internalized that the forum's not going away, so they've taken to posting on the forum that they've sued 5 times to try and take down, and they've been arguing for stuff like the world being flat. They've been arguing about their Torah interpretations and all. It's just complete, absolute nut job stuff.
Oh God, that's fantastic. Uh, I don't know how you find these people, but I
They
do.
find me.
No, well, I mean they do, but I don't know how that you find them either. But I do love that the last thing I saw from them was actually on the farms where they out of the blue were yelling at you and decided to implicate me, and I'm innocent. I'm over here. I haven't done anything, and they're like, "You're just like that lawyer," and I was like, "What? What did I do?"
Yeah, the internet's magical like that. You can just be talking to people who are not even trying to upset anyone. You can just be talking to people who follow you because they want to hear what you have to say, and then they get angry about it. And it's like, I wasn't even talking to you. Why are you upset? How could you even muster the energy for this?
It's fantastic to me. What the hell? Anyway, but we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about someone else. A very special individual, dear to the internet, and a guy I am really not familiar with at all. So I'm hoping you'll help me out here. A guy by the name of Darkside Phil, right?
DSP, an internet superhero.
Yeah, that's. I spent about 15 minutes today watching some clips of DSP, which is saying something, because that 15 minutes took hours to get through.
It depends on what you watch. There are some things that, I mean, if you just listen to him in his normal streams, they are completely insufferable. The worst thing that he does, and he's been doing it for literally a decade and has never bothered to improve it ever, is he snorts constantly. And it's like if this is your job. Yeah, no, well, yeah, kind of. It's like just like inhaling snot, and it's constant, perpetual, and it's weird because you can tell his you can tell his temperament, because if he's really angry, he'll snort like aggressively. And
he's like a boar.
yeah, and it's my thing is just like, look, dude, I know it's probably gonna look weird to have like a nasal strip on, but if this is your job and these people listening to you are your clients, get a nasal strip on and people will forgive it. It'll be like a goof. It'll be like a home. If he wore a nasal strip every day, it would be like a facet of his character that people would draw in fan art and stuff.
He could do like the black markings under his eyes, like he's playing football, to go along with the nasal strip. That would be great. I think that That would make him better looking immediately too. The less of him you see, the better.
It's just a total and complete lack of concern for his audience. And something that gross and weird and obnoxious is like a clearance. Like nobody could even consider being a fan of this guy unless they can also put up with snorting. So like a huge percentage of the population is just immediately wiped out before any considerations of gameplay or personality are considered. And that's like just the primer on DSP. He's been around for forever, and that's both like an admirable quality and also like just a complete waste of life, depending on how you look at it.
So I looked him up on Twitch, and he's got 84,400 subscribers, which is, or not subscribers, sorry, it's Twitch followers. He's got 84,400 followers on Twitch, which is pretty big. Like, that's a big channel. But am I to believe that none of these people actually like are legit fans? Is his entire audience just troll?
No, he has a legitimate hardcore fan base that are referred to as the pay pigs. And that term's thrown around a lot, but I think his fan base was the ones that were first hit with the term pay pigs because they are people who are religiously devout to DSP. And to kind of put this into reference or perspective, he invented the concept of let's plays, and technically that's debatable. People, nerds will fucking argue about it, but he was he basically decided one day to point a webcam at his television and record himself playing a game and talking about the game while playing it and posting these videos to YouTube, which was a brand new platform at the time. And he invented that, and to his credit, he was very successful because for a long time he was the only person doing it. You didn't have any you weren't spoiled for choice when it came to watching live footage of a video game back then. There was no Twitch. It was just weirdos like Darkside Phil doing it, and that's where he found his success, and he made a lot of money during this early time in his career.
That's fantastic. Like how to have that legacy, and then to just piss it all away. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, well, he's slow to adapt, even though he was like a pioneer in this. One of the things that people will point out is that, for instance, at a certain point in time, as live streaming became more popular, there were innovations to how things were captured. So instead of capturing video game footage off of your TV with pointing a camera at the TV, you could use a capture card to get a high quality video footage. He never adopted the capture card until years after it was common practice, and it's just little stuff like that where he didn't progress. He was a very stubborn person. He always thought. Here's another great example: is nowadays on YouTube, videos over 10 minutes get prioritized over small meme videos that are a couple seconds, right?
Sure.
To the point where it's like a meme now to see shitty content creators put out videos that are like 10 minutes and 3 seconds long because there's a hard thing where those are the videos that Google likes.
Yeah, well, 10 to 15 minute window is that's the magic.
That's the butter. And but a video that's super long, those Knudsen videos, all these documentaries that are like an hour long, they get great SEO as well. And Phil, back in early YouTube, the maximum length for a YouTube video was like 10 to 15 minutes. That was all you could put on the internet. So eventually, when Google, especially after Google bought it out, they lifted these limits over and over again, so you can upload videos however long you want. Well, he's continued to post his videos in 10 to 15 minute snips. And so you'll be watching his gameplay footage or looking at his channel. He has tens of thousands of videos accumulated over years because he continues to clip his videos in these very small groups instead of just doing what everyone else does and having the entire session be a thing. So he's lost like a ton of search engine power over his detractors because he doesn't follow best practices today.
Someone said he had 56,000 videos on his his
Yeah,
channel.
it's a grotesque amount, and he considers this a point of pride. He's like, I'm not like those other fucking live streamers that are just following every trend as they come up. No, I've been doing things the way I've been doing them since 2006. It's like, okay, on one hand, that's admirable to do something that long, but on the other hand, it's like at a certain point, you're a detriment to yourself by not considering other possibilities, and that's basically the entire DSP saga in a nutshell.
That's amazing. This guy is so weird. He's such a lightning rod. That the first time I heard of him was people like doing DSP memes in the chat or whatever, and then having to explain it to me later because I'm, an internet boomer and have no idea who this guy is. And I never heard of him before, maybe like a year ago. And then even so, I had only heard of him. I never watched his stuff. I didn't know anything about any of this.
Yeah, he's one of those people who has like a meme, a following that pervades like his actual reputation. It's like with Wings of Redemption. You might not have seen anything Wings of Redemption has ever done, but you've probably heard people in chat say, "Look here, look, listen." And that's a Wings of Redemption thing that many people do, completely detached from him. Or that Call of Duty meme, press F to pay respects.
Yeah.
Like, you probably never played that Call of Duty game, but everyone knows what press F to pay respects is, and it's just one of those weird mimetic things that are more interesting than Phil himself. His personality, as it stands, is kind of egregious. He just is extremely obnoxious and hard to listen to.
He
And
seems huggable, like a pin cushion or whatever.
Yeah, well,
just awful. just absolutely terrible.
Here's how I see him in my head, and it's probably way different than how he is in real life. If you've never seen the movie Forrest Gump has an IQ of something like 60. He's mentally retarded by the rules of the movie, but he falls in love with a very smart girl called Jenny. And throughout the movie, you see Forrest Gump, a man with a very low IQ, who just manages to do what he's told and commit to what he wants to do. And those are his only personality traits. And throughout the movie, you're reminded by him and his mother that his mother always said, "Stupid is as stupid does." And you see that in contrast to Jenny, where Jenny is very smart but acts stupid, so she's the real idiot, as opposed to Forrest Gump, who is stupid but acts smart, so he's smarter than her in the logic of the movie.
Right.
And DSP seems like a very stupid person, and there's nothing wrong with being stupid, but
there's a little bit wrong with it. No, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. No.
If you're Forrest Gump, you can get away with being stupid. And he almost is a Forrest Gump, but he's not successful. It's like if Forrest Gump did the marathon without anyone following him, or playing ping pong without actually being good at ping pong eventually, or starting a shipping company.
Wouldn't it be a bunch of people following him and just telling him he really sucks at running, like the whole time? That seems like a better analogy.
Well, it's because he does suck at running.
I know, but they'd be like, "Why are your knees up so high, you weirdo?" It'd be great. I think they should do that too. They should remake Forrest Gump for the internet.
For DSP. Does he get sent to Afghanistan? Is that part of the movie?
Yes. And instead of playing ping pong, he just does heroin. That'll be perfect. God, So anyway, so we're here to talk about his bankruptcy, because he's filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right?
Yes.
And so should we start by explaining what bankruptcy is?
Yeah, I suggested, because I think a lot of people in their head, when they think of a bankruptcy, they think of just you press a button and everything goes away. You lose all your shit, and you also lose all your debts, and you're just reset, and you have bad credit for 10 years. Here's how I imagine bankruptcy, and you can correct me, but from what I've read, when you declare bankruptcy, you're essentially going to the government and saying, "Government, I have all these assets, and I have all these debts, and I don't know what to do anymore. I can't figure this out. I want you to figure this out for me, because I give up." And then at that point, all the debtors have to go to the table so that they can argue over who gets what in the proceedings that the government kind of goes through for you. And during this time, they can't sue you independently. And if for some reason you do something during the bankruptcy that's fraudulent, or they have some reason to throw it out, then all the debtors can start suing you immediately and just start tearing whatever chunks they can get one at a time. That's how it seems to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's two major types of bankruptcy. Phil here is applying for Chapter 7. That's a liquidation, and that's where the government has they come in and they sell off or liquidate whatever assets of yours they can to pay the creditors, and then they discharge whatever unsecured debts there are. Like a mortgage isn't going to go away from a bankruptcy. A car loan isn't going to go away from bankruptcy. You tend to get to maybe renegotiate or get your payments extended on those because they want their money, and it's expensive to foreclose or to repossess stuff. But your credit cards, your personal loans, stuff like that's going to go away. Then there's a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is a reorganization, and the reorganization bankruptcy is a little bit different. It makes it so that your debt isn't forgiven, but the court imposes like a reduced payment plan, a consolidated reduced payment plan per month, where you pay off the debt over time, and it could be forever. Like you could be paying it until you're dead, but you will pay back those creditors. So it's a pretty sort of interesting thing. And of course, if you do have assets, they will take them to pay the creditors as much as possible if they can. But there are also a bunch of exemptions and stuff like that. And once they do it, I mean, if you win a Chapter 7, or if you get a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, I mean, they can't come after you. The creditors can't do it. They just lose out, right? They just lose their money. But there's qualifications and all of that involved in it. Income requirements. There are exemptions on property, because they can't like just take your home and car and all of that stuff from you. You still have to be able to live, and they want you to have a car so you can go to work and stuff like that. And they let you keep business assets up to a certain amount. And it's different for every state, and the feds have their own requirements. It's a real pain in the dick.
Yeah, it sounds like a very technical and not fun aspect of law.
No, it's awful. And remember, the people that you're serving when you're doing bankruptcy law have no money. So you have to get paid upfront in cash typically, because you can't, by the function of how bankruptcy works, you logically can't incur a line of credit or extend a line of credit to them for them to pay you over time, because it would be discharged by the bankruptcy. You see what I'm saying?
So the lawyers who do bankruptcy tend to be scalpers, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
they take money up front. They get very good at knowing how much it's going to cost, and they just say, look, this is what you're going to pay. You're going to come in here. You're going to pay $4,000 we go through your assets or whatever. You're going to pay $4,000, and then we're going to do the bankruptcy. It's going to take this much time, and that's going to be it. But you have to pay me up front.
Okay. Well, before we get into any of the nitty gritty, I have a general question that will be asked probably about 4 dozen times throughout this document. How important is it to get this initial filing accurate? Oh,
I knew this question was coming, because a lot of people have been talking about it, and there's some.
It's the most fascinating, because you're reading it and you're thinking, this is bullshit. Everything is questionable.
Homeless people who are naked have more than $500 worth of clothes, right? Like for example, that's one of the things. It's fairly important, but generally speaking, what he can do is, if the creditors challenge it, if it becomes an issue, he can amend the filing.
Because it just seems to me, because I know a lot of people are hung up on how factually inaccurate it is, but it seems to me that you probably have a little bit of leeway, where it's just like, oh, I made a mistake on this, I can change that. I misunderstood this part, I'll change that. And
Now he has a lawyer, so you get a little less leeway because he's supposed to be advised by competent counsel. But you get this thing of, well, how much is this stuff actually worth, right? Like a house is pretty easy to find out. There's a Zillow, there are appraisers, there's any real estate company can give you just kind of a desk appraisal of your home and give you a rough idea of how much it's worth. For cars, there's Kelley Blue Book, and you can estimate based on the condition and mileage and year how much your car might be worth. But clothes, electronics, like how much is a TV from 2012 worth, right? Like $8.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a 55-inch TV, but it's not worth anything because what you're gonna get $200 when someone could go to Walmart and for $300 buy a brand new one that's gonna look better, work better, and be in 4K. So it's hard to. You can make a good faith argument that you are properly estimating value based on what you think it's actually worth rather than replacement cost and stuff like that. But if the creditors want to make it an issue, they will. That's the trick here. And there is some stuff that I think that the creditors may want to look at with Bill, because some of these things I just don't believe it, right?
Yeah.
And it's assets related to his business and electronics and all of that stuff. Apparently he has no electronics at all, which is great.
Well, that you brought that up. He claims on the thing that he has no collectibles and no electronics, which can be readily disproved by looking at any of his streams in the last 10 years.
He's borrowing
he has shit all over the fucking place.
It's just borrowed.
Well, that's one of the things people are saying. Is he going to claim that he gave it all to his wife? Those are his wife's things, or is he going to try to say that it belongs to an LLC or what? But
yeah,
to front load this, I want to ask something that many people are curious about, and I think I know the answer. But is there any significant risk of him going to jail for perjury over these filings? Because I don't think so.
Over these filings, I doubt it. The court might say you need to amend this, and if you keep
like start
screwing,
over.
Yeah, if you keep screwing around, we're gonna have to look at this. But man, perjury is it's a tough thing to actually get somebody on perjury. Like, cause the ultimate answer is I didn't lie, I'm just retarded, right? Like that's yeah. I wasn't trying to lie. Just like you said earlier, I just didn't understand. Well, your lawyer said this, but she tried to tell me, but I just didn't, I just didn't get it. So give me a chance to fix it. And they'll give him a chance to fix it. And really, the difference is going to be, does he qualify for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13? And does the government get to take any of his stuff and try and sell it off? Those are the two questions that these forms are going to answer. Because he's insolvent. I mean, that's pretty clear. He doesn't have the money. He qualifies for bankruptcy. The question is, are his exemptions okay? And then does he qualify for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13? That's the ultimate question.
Because the big difference is if he's Chapter 7, if he meets the poverty requirements for Chapter 7, he can be absolved of his debts. But if it's Chapter 13, even if he goes through the bankruptcy, he still owes everyone their money. Right.
Yep. He will owe them money forever. He'll be court ordered to make payments. Not making those payments can undo the bankruptcy and then allow the creditors to come in and sue, or pursue other collection efforts and stuff like that. So you have to make your bankruptcy payments every month, or else they will let the creditors run roughshod over you after a few missed payments. So, it's a mess. So should we start going through these things?
Sure. I think I have a little bit of information about everything he claims, so it might take a while.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. So here I've got it pulled up. It should be it should be on the screen there. And well, it'll catch up to YouTube in a second. Oh, I do have a bunch of super chats that I should probably hit right away, because they're they're sizable ones. So let's get these out of the way as well. Tommy Brews B Reviews says, "Hi Nick, can't watch the show live tonight. I just wanted to say what's up to Null and that Danny Brown is the greatest rapper ever."
Danny Brown, no, ban him. Ban him from your streams.
He's not even on. He's not even watching. He can't watch live. So I banned him there.
You got to, okay, good.
Angel of Death DXD says, "Hey, been working dual 8-hour shifts each day to try and cover this myself, but I'm still in dire need of some assistance. I'm not allowed any more overtime. Thanks. GoFundMe /F/drug-dorm mates." That sounds like a good story right there. Drug dorm mates. So you guys can check out that GoFundMe if you want. I don't know anything about it. Nixex says, "A friend at work asked me about my bestest Nile mug, so I explained who you were and casually recommended your Greer videos as a start. A couple days later, she messaged me on a company Skype. I get you, Nixhex." Oni-chan says, "Nick, thanks for always thinking of me and telling me how to spend my money. By the way, my boss is still waiting on that solution to the physics problem for our research proposal. Maybe on tonight's stream. Thanks again." I have no idea what that's about. I don't know. Patrick Ells says, "Would be awesome to hear from It's a Gundam on this subject." Do you know who It's a Gundam is?
No, not at all. Never heard of him.
Okay, I've heard of him, but apparently some sort of DSP expert. Pepperidge Farms says, "Hey Jersh, you remember to feed Chantel this evening?" I remembered. I always remember.
Oh no, I can't escape it. You are one of the worst offenders for perpetrating.
I haven't said a word about feeding. I've been holding my tongue. I was going to dump it all in after about an hour when you're lulled into a false sense of security.
Oh no.
And then I was going to make chewing sounds at the mic. I love Adblock says, "Please talk about King of Pole's dad totally not watching the cheese pizza Null."
Oh, King of Pole, his father was a sheriff in Florida, and he got arrested on child pornography charges. That King of Pole is very adamant was a false indictment, and that the person just looked underage, but the prosecuting attorney really wanted to get a big child pornography conviction before their election.
She's really a 500-year-old elf or whatever.
Hey, it works. It works for everyone else.
Have you seen? So, just a brief sidetrack into anime. Funimation licensed this show to do a simuldub, and it was called Interspecies Reviewers. It's these guys who go around to like brothels of different species, and they do like Yelp reviews of it or something, and it's pretty graphic, right? And they aired I think the first 4 episodes, and then 3 episodes, and then they canceled it. They canceled the English dub of it, and they said it went against their standards. But it's like, oh my god, it's great. Have you seen anything about it?
No, I haven't heard of this. The last anime I heard that upset everyone was Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer is funny for its own thing, but I heard Goblin Slayer is only really like the first episode is
that's from what I understand. It has like this really weird like rape scene in the first bit, and then the rest of it is about the actual goblin slaying.
Yeah, but make no mistake, Interspecies Reviewers doesn't get quote unquote more tame after the first episode. It only goes up from there. It's great, hilarious. I love these stupid anime companies pretending that this isn't what they were buying, right? Like they were buying this idea. And I'm
sure if it was a huge success, Funimation would still be doing it.
And if you see the art, like the cover art for this thing, there's no mistaking what this was. It's so funny. Okay, so anyway, King of Pole's reasoning was one of the best things I've ever seen. Only Nick Bates' legal strategy was better. So his reasoning is just that it's a big conspiracy, or is there something else to
essentially. I don't know. It is Florida, man. I give a little bit of credence with that.
You know, I'll say though, prosecutors who make headline convictions make
Get
governor.
elected.
Yeah, they get elected.
Yeah.
Or they get appointed to judgeships and stuff like that. The prosecutors in Trayvon Martin's case, one of them moved on to a judgeship. Others are, became partners at law firms and stuff like that. They move along well. It's good work. Next is at Zuma99 says, "Hey Nick, here's some whiskey money to help with the blood pressure after having to put up with the mass loss of brain cells because of those Ronversations. Keep up the good work, man. You're awesome." Just so you guys know, Ron has given me at least another show full of Ronversations to share with you.
Ron is one of the Weebors people who are doing like depositions, right?
Yeah, it's Monica Rial's perpetual fiance. And he started DMing me about 2 weeks ago on Twitter, and just pages and pages and pages of DMs, and I'll answer back every now and then, and I just keep calling him names, really. I mean, he just keeps sending me stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's pretty great. I don't
He's
know.
He's gonna end up being your king of poll. He's gonna be asking you for outlines soon.
Yeah. What he needs to do is ask someone else for therapy. That's what he needs to do, because he needs help. Stooge Muffin Stuffin says, "Nick, please watch Black Lagoon. It's basically what would happen if Tarantino and John Woo joined forces to make an anime. Also, you absolutely have to watch the dub. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't." I'll consider it. Dustin Fritzfar says, "Hey Nick, it's been a while. I don't know if I missed it and am dumb, or if you haven't gotten to it yet, but have you gotten a chance to look at the SCP copyright debacle? If you have, can you point me to that stream?" Not in depth. Not yet. That's it involves Russian trademark. I'm not.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Are you familiar with SCP at all?
I know the wiki. I hadn't heard of a copyright dispute.
So they use Creative Commons license on all their stuff, right? And some guy just decided to trademark the SCP stuff in Russia.
Okay. Here's what I'll say about that. Here's what I guess will happen. I bet you Russia will side with him if he's a Russian citizen, and he'll be able to like clone it and host it in Russia and monetize it as he wants, but it won't be upheld in the U.S.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like where is this going to apply? But maybe. That's the weird thing about international or intellectual property stuff, and specifically trademark. Like if you're under a different system, it matters where you're doing business.
Yeah.
But Snoutfoot says, "Big ups to you and the evil Jewish warlock, more commonly known as Null. Smoke weed and or drink like a Flaviar man every day." So there you go. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. So anyway, let's get into these documents here. Here we've got the filing. You can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the voluntary petition for individuals filing for bankruptcy. I did go ahead and I made a good faith effort to redact any addresses, portions of account numbers, or social security numbers. I mean, there are no full account or social security numbers in the document, so I did try to blank them all out. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. But so these are just the information pages up front. And the first thing that struck me in this is that he has two properties. He has one in King County, Washington State, and then he has one in Connecticut.
Yeah, all the way across the world. That's been a point of contention for a long time in DSP's history, is that he constantly begs for money and says, "I need this money to pay off my taxes," or whatever his most recent crisis is. And people are just asking him, like, "Why don't you sell the condo in Connecticut?" And
I think it's answered in this document. Right?
Oh, yeah, because he's under it.
He's 40K underwater on it. I bet he bought that thing like in 2008.
Oh, he had to have. Yeah, to lose $40,000 on a property in Connecticut. Yeah, he bought it at the bubble.
Yeah, and he's His credit is clearly a disaster, so there's no way he was going to refinance that thing. Yeah, it's a mess. So I'm guessing he probably was making more money a couple years ago, right?
Yes, I think his finances have always been in decline since the height of his thing. I don't think he's ever had any kind of rise, but he makes a lot of money. He makes an amount of money that I'm enviable of, because it's something like, I mean, it's not insignificant. It's, well, I want to say it's like,
going by his filing, he makes $4,000 a month.
Yeah, good
and then
money.
His wife makes an additional like $1,200 a month, something like that.
Yeah, she works part-time at Kroger, and that was a funny thing, is seeing that in the document, because people had been speculating that she worked at that Kroger for a while, and he always denied it, but then he had to write it in this document. He was very, by the way, very, very unhappy about having this be public, and one of the things when he announced the bankruptcy, he told his story about talking to the lawyer, I think before he found the bankruptcy attorney. And his main concern in his storytelling about meeting this lawyer is, how do I keep people on the internet from finding this? And the lawyer's just like, they're going to find it. There's nothing you can do. It's public record. People are going to find it. And he was extremely unhappy about that.
So, well, I mean, if he's very unhappy about us talking about it, he is welcome to come on my show and talk to me. I would love to have Phil on. We can talk about it.
He's no chance in hell. I don't think he's ever ever entertained any offer to come onto a third party environment where he can't like shut people down and have a conversation. I don't think he's ever done that.
Oh, well, he's welcome to start too. Like I'm just saying, if he has an issue, he could come on and I'll show him my cat for free or whatever. So it'd be fine.
Sounds fair.
But yeah, I do see a lot of people in the chat saying that's if you believe what he says about his income. And yeah, that's the problem that Phil's going to face, is that you can kind of check his income, right? Like we can figure out with some level of idea how much money he's making.
Yeah, what he lists in this document is very much in line with what people on the forum have been speculating for months, is that he's making tons of money, more money than he's saying.
Yeah, and he'd almost have to. With a channel his size, I can't imagine not. But I mean, I don't know how many actual subscribers he has on Twitch at any given time.
The person, I think it was Soap Queen, it might have been actually, what they did is they went through and they meticulously counted all the bits, all the subscriptions. They counted everything, and they put up a thing that said, I think he makes about $4,000 a month. And it exactly matches what he says on his forums.
But so he doesn't make any other money though? Like he's got to do something else. What about? Does he not have a YouTube channel?
No. Well, he does, but I think he's banned from AdSense. I think that's one of his sagas, is that he did something and he's been on and off AdSense. Because he got his start way back when he was part of an MLM. And they did the AdSense for him, or they just monetized his channel and cut him a check that was fake income. Like that's been a huge. I think he got banned off AdSense at some point, and he tried to do it with like a company to make a new one. He's like, it's a mess. I don't think he has AdSense though. He has a Patreon.
Oh, he has a Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
How good's his Patreon? You just chuckle snorted when I asked.
Oh, did I? No, sorry, I was reading chat because everyone was yelling at me.
They're saying 8 to 10K a month.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't know why I said 4,000.
Because that's what's in the document.
That's what's net. It's 10,000 minus the 5,000 expenses.
There's no way he has $5,000 in expenses.
Well,
I mean, maybe with the two properties, I guess, but I don't know. His expenses are a funny thing to go through, because they're not just funny because it's him. This is something that I think when people, when you sit down to do this stuff and you try and value out your life for like life insurance policies or for homeowners insurance policies, and you really get into the math of like how much your stuff is worth and how much it would cost to repair, we way underestimate how much crap we have. Like I'm sitting next to, I mean, I've got these bookshelves behind me, but those are all like collector books, so I'm not going to count those. But like on either side of me are these bookshelves. And I mean, you got hundreds of books on them. And you have to imagine that the replacement cost of each one of these books is at least $5, right? So I'm sitting next to thousands of dollars worth of books, but it doesn't feel like thousands of dollars because it's just like little crappy books, right? It doesn't come across that way. And when you look at your underwear drawer, you don't think, well, that's like $300 worth of underwear. You just acquire it over time, so it builds up. Or socks, dress shirts. $30 a shirt, $50 a shirt. That's if you dress cheap like me. So I think some of his expenses and assets are just grossly understated.
Yeah, and to the people in chat who are angry that I've not mentioned certain things, I'm waiting for the appropriate time to mention certain things.
We're getting there. We've got a long road.
It's a long stream, yeah.
$500 of fleshlights. Exactly. Okay, so he's this is interesting. So he says he's not a sole proprietor of any full or part-time business.
That's wrong. He automatically off the bat wrong. He has Burnell Industries as a sole proprietorship in the state that he's filing his bankruptcy in.
Okay, so that's a problem.
Yes.
That is actually a problem, and the court's going to be probably pissed about that. I mean, again, they're not going to fine him for perjury or whatever. But if someone, points that out to the bankruptcy trustee or whatever,
it's like
have an issue.
It's like, how do you not know? Like, how could you possibly? Because he talks about it constantly that he runs a business, dude. He yeah. How do you not know that you own a sole proprietorship? Because presumably it's been open for years and he continues to pay to have it administratively upkept.
It's not an LLC though.
No, it is a sole proprietorship.
So you just flat out
immediately, right off the bat, first checkbox wrong, demonstrably wrong. Can prove it's wrong in 30 seconds.
Oh God! So he's not filing under Chapter 11. Yeah, because that would be a mess. Do you own or have any property that is a threat of imminent and identifiable hazard? Oh, excuse me.
No, I don't think so. There was some drama with his Connecticut property, but I think that's fine.
I received a briefing from an approved credit counseling agency. Okay, so you gotta seek credit counseling before you can file bankruptcy, which is very minimal. It's like a phone call. Are your debts primarily consumer debts? He says yes. But I don't think his debts are actually primarily consumer debt. Well, I guess
yes,
rather than business.
Do you want to know what all his debt is?
Well, I was saying real estate is more of a debt than his revolving.
Is that considered? Because I thought it would be like floating like credit card debt.
I think this is just consumer versus business based on this.
Even
question.
then, like his properties aren't business properties. He doesn't rent out the Connecticut property, I don't think, and he can maybe claim that he has a home office, but that's not half the expenses of his mortgage. It's all. I think it's all consumer.
Yeah. I when I was initially reading it, I was thinking consumer as revolving versus secured, but it's consumer versus business. So no, that's correct. Filing Chapter 7. Do you estimate that any exempt property is excluded, and administrative expenses are paid that funds will be available to distribute unsecured creditors? So after they take out exempt property, is there going to be any money or assets left over to pay creditors? He says no. How many creditors do you estimate that you owe? 1 to 49. I want to see this guy. More than 100,000 creditors. That's my goal.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
This is my goal in life, is to get to there.
That's such a weird thing. It's like, how much money do you have? Like $1 to $1 million, then $1 million to $2 million, and it just goes up and up. It's like, who is going to be checking even the second tick box unless they're like a major corporation?
Yeah, that's what you're running into is corporations with lots of corporate creditors. But I mean, still, more than 100,000 creditors is a lot. How much do you estimate your assets to be worth? So he says between 100 and 500,000.
That's probably correct.
Yeah, just based on the real property. How much do you estimate your liabilities to be? 100 to 500,000. Again, with the real property, it puts it up there, and also his consumer or his credit card debt is just massive.
Yes, it's huge.
That's a sad story. That's a sad story. So he does have a lawyer, Rochelle Sheffield. I have to say this. Just please don't bother that lady.
She appears to be one. I think we looked it up, and her flat rate for something like this would be like $1,500 for filing a bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But to make this is here's the thing that people are curious about, because this document is bullshit. It's just wrong. Starting off with the sole proprietorship, and it makes you wonder: is she bad or is he lying to her?
She probably just said, here's a piece of paper that'll tell you how to calculate this stuff out. Go fill in the blanks. You
think so? And then he just filled it out as he would, and then she signed off on it without.
It's a $1,500 flat rate, man. That's like okay. Even an inexpensive lawyer. That's so $1,500. That's going to carry him through the entire bankruptcy, right? Like it's got to be an upfront amount. So you're talking 5 hours of work at $300 an hour, 6 hours of work at $250 an hour. That's not a ton of work that she's going to be putting into his bankruptcy. So likely they'll have an initial conversation. She'll counsel him on how to calculate up these things, answer any questions that he might have about the categories, and then send him on his way to do his stuff. It's not really her job to make sure that he does everything. Honest. Yeah, that he's honest. If she doesn't know he's being dishonest, that's not really her responsibility. She should make some sort of effort, but it's really hard to pin a lawyer on, my client lied. It's not really I didn't know they were lying. So I would wager she's just, and this is not a slight, that she's just not attentive to what he's saying, because she doesn't,
there's no reason to doubt him.
Yeah, she's just going to file the document that he puts in front of her. And then if she has to make any arguments about it, she'll make the arguments or advise him further if that comes up. So here we go. We got the Schedule A and B of property. Total real estate is valued at $405,501. He's got total personal property, $22,114.35. And again, I find it very hard to believe that someone with $400,000 worth of real property only has $22,000 worth of personal property. That's just because that's including a car that's worth $15,000 according to him.
Well, so, that depends on the equity. If I have to take issue with this claim that everyone has $500 worth of clothes. I have one pair of pants and 3 shirts and a couple pairs of underwear. I have like 20 pairs of socks. Yeah, but you're a monk
or whatever.
Okay, I'm just saying that if I owned a $400,000 house, I would probably still have a bed and a suitcase that I never unpacked. That would be me, because that's when I lived in Ukraine. That was basically my situation. I had this nice big dresser that I never filled out because I just lived out of my suitcase.
So you wouldn't put anything on the walls, not posters?
No, my walls were completely barren. The only decorations I had were like weird Ukrainian trinkets that the owner left there.
Let me see. You wouldn't have books. You don't own books. No computers, no video game systems, no.
Okay, that's the fun part, is wondering. Okay, he definitely has an entire room in his house full of shit that he should be putting on this bankruptcy, because if those creditors come, that's the room that they're going to be liquidating on eBay to try and make some of this money back, because it is like collectibles for the last 20 years. It's all this Mortal Kombat shit, all these action figures, all the legit collectibles that may have appreciated in value over time. No mention of.
Yeah, that's they're owned by his LLC, I'm guessing.
or cat. That's the question. Is he legit going to try and say, "Oh no, these aren't my man-child toys. These aren't my PS4s. These aren't my TVs. All this cats. It's all cats."
You know what's interesting is Washington a community property state? Washington.
To elaborate, community property is.
Hold on.
For those of us who don't know, obviously I would know this.
I hate. It's one of the few remaining community property states. Items considered marital property are generally split equally. So that means that she automatically owns half of what he owns, except for stuff that he brought into the relationship. When did he marry this chick?
Like a couple months ago. He married her and then immediately filed bankruptcy.
Maybe he married her, gifted her a bunch of stuff, and is filing. That doesn't always work. That might be improper transfers, but that'll be interesting to see.
April, someone in the chat says.
April. That's when they got married. That's not her name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. April of last year. So he's been married for he's coming up on a year. We got to congratulate him. Total personal property, 22,114.35. Okay, now I know. Okay, look, I get the austerity angle, right? And you know more about DSP than I do, and the chat knows way more. Is this a man who doesn't own anything? That's the question. Is this
what
a
he
man?
owns is again going to be his man-child room and his toy and his electronics.
So you don't think he owns other stuff though, like like a suit? Think he maybe owns a suit?
No. In fact, a joke in the thread is that we are curious if he's going to show up in court in his wedding suit, because we don't think he has any other kind of like a formal clothing.
Where's all this money going? Like he has 130 grand in credit card debt.
Do you want to know?
Do
you want to know where the money goes?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Can you handle this?
I can handle so much more than I think.
The top autists of the Kiwi farms have spent innumerable hours researching this topic. And
why is the Kiwi Farms the funniest website on the planet?
It just is. Because truth is funnier than fiction. That's why.
That's true.
We believe that $40,000 of this, around that range, went into a mobile gacha game about WWE.
Wait, that he was developing or that he was playing?
That he was playing. He doesn't develop things. He doesn't make things that gain in value. I don't know, Are you joking?
So, I didn't think it would gain in value. I think maybe he developed a game and it just tanked. Like he just dumped 40 grand into some sad program.
Darkside Phil used to be a competitive player of Mortal Kombat or whatever. Somebody's gonna get mad at me and say, no, it wasn't Mortal. It was a fighting game. It was a fighting game, like all the fighting games that people love. And he was never a winner. The closest he got to winning was 4th place on this weird cartridge for a Mortal Kombat game that half the competitive players boycotted the tournament for. Evo and Street Fighter. Okay, he was 4th at Street Fighter Evo like 10 years ago, and he got 4th, and he still puts that in like his professional profile that he was a world champion Street Fighter Evo player or something. And
Maddox was a self-professed good at Street Fighter player also.
Okay. But he's been desperate for a long time to be a winner. And we believe that in this WWE fighting game on mobile that you can pay to be a top one, because he came in like 4th worldwide in like the season for last December. He came in 4th because he put in so much money that he just wins by default because he has the best champions that would take like thousands of hours of grinding to get naturally. And
so you're alleging that he took out roughly $40,000 in credit card debt to pay for a mobile microtransactions on one game.
Yes. In fact, people were laughing because we really couldn't believe that he would call this money sync account. They call me DSP, which is like the same account name he uses everywhere. And it's like, this has to be like a joke. But then it's like, how can it be a joke if it's $40,000 worth of shit? Did someone have a whale account that they renamed? Can they do that? We went through all the steps, and then we started looking at the last online time, and it synced up perfectly. Last online right before the stream, last online right after the stream, and you could see him sometimes during streams pulling out his phone and playing on his phone during like his streams. And you're wondering, like, what the fuck is he doing on his phone? Like, who is he talking to? He doesn't have friends. So we believe that during
his life can't be this sad.
No, it is. This is because there's no other possible explanation. And it's just, he wanted to be the winner. He wanted to be number one. He wanted to be the best fighting player for Street Fighter or whatever the fuck. And he came in fourth on a cart that nobody played. And that was his legacy. And now it's like he can pay money to be a winner in this game. And we think that's why he's so addicted to it.
Oh my God, that can't. Oh. Good. I wonder, those digital assets aren't transferable, are they? Damn, that would be great. Right? What if the court could auction off his?
Mandated eBay auction for They Call Me DSP on mobile. WWE.
So funny. Could you imagine? That would go for a fortune. Like there'd be someone out there who'd be like, they could take over DSP's account. That'd be great.
I'm sure there's a whale out there who really wants that game. Was like, whoa, this is like a $40,000 account. I can spend $10,000 right now on eBay.
Yeah, but you know, like you could crowdfund and channel the autism into the meme of buying DSP's account, and it'd be even funnier, right? But,
yeah, it would be. Can you imagine how sad he would be if he lost that fucking mobile game? That's been because he has like $10,000 of debt that he's just accumulated over like a decade, right? That has no value, doesn't make him happy, doesn't spark joy. It's just debt, and and when you get depressed like that, you impulse buy, and we think that a lot of the WWE shit is just impulse buying. But taking that from him, he can't even be number 4 in fucking WWE mobile gacha.
Oh my God, that's sad. Gerard Hanna says, "Oh my God, Nick, did Nancy Pelosi violate 18 USC 2071 by ripping up Trump's speech?" I can tell you no. Let's see. So whoever willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, or destroys, or attempts to do so, or with intent to do so, and carries away any record, proceeding, map, book, paper, document, or other thing, filed or deposited with any clerk or officer of any court of the United States in any public office, blah, blah, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. No, because one, what she did is almost guaranteed to be protected under free speech. The very act of destroying your opponent's written memorialization of a political speech is going to be protected speech. And two, there's another copy. So no. Long story short, no. If you can burn a flag, you can rip up the president's State of the Union speech. Samurai Zenji says gets wrong on documents. DSP says no, you see, actually, the truth of the matter is, the bottom line is this. The reason why I'm in debt is because of Tevin. It's Tevin's fault, dude. Also, how are you guys doing? Who's Tevin?
Tevin is a black guy that DSP really hates.
He hates a black guy?
Yes, that's right. There's some history between them. Tevin will stream DSP stuff and talk over it and make fun of him, and DSP literally accuses him of stealing content. And the really funny thing is that there's all these people who hate DSP. Yeah, who hate DSP and who really try to hurt the guy. Tevin is just it's just a black guy, and he does a reaction to DSP stuff. And for some reason, DSP hates Tevin more than everyone else, more than the people who actually fuck with him. And it's kind of like DSP, you don't hate Tevin because he's black, do you?
Is he does he go after him on copyright stuff and stuff like that?
I think so. He probably has. I would wager yes, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Oh boy, I saw DSP. I was watching a video clip of him making cup noodles.
That's a famous one because he can't conceptualize the utensils you need to eat a cup of ramen.
Yeah, he had like a towel with like a whole bunch of spoons on it. I don't know what was going on with that.
I'm sorry, I was reading chat because people are angry.
No, you're fine. They're not angry. I don't think the chat's not angry.
They're saying that DSP says he wishes he could sue Tevin for copyright infringement, but he hasn't had the money for it. But I'm thinking you were asking more about the YouTube copyright system abuse.
Yeah, well, just in
filing
general, yeah, because you can make someone's day terrible on YouTube through the copyright system without ever going to court or proving anything.
It's a mess. YouTube is fucking awful.
Yeah,
for that.
At some point, that's gonna come back to him. Okay, but the total of all property, $427,000. So then we've creditors who have secured or claims secured by property. Oh my god.
Oh, he got Tevin banned on Twitch. That seems
rude.
Yeah, because I bet you what it is that he complained to Twitch staff like, oh, he's bullying me. And I think Twitch has weird rules where you can't like restream someone else's stuff and comment over it. Like you can't do live reactions like that.
Yeah, you can't like. I think partners are restricted from really going after other partners or like disparaging them or anything.
Yeah, and if you're a smaller channel, you can't punch up at all because you'll get shit on.
Yeah. Okay, so secured claims. So these are going to be the mortgages on his property. This, to 347,666, with the bulk of that being on his main property. Although he's not underwater on his main property, he's only underwater on the Connecticut property. And then we have unsecured claims. He has $15,000, and that's his tax lien. And then he has the rest of it, $131,550, and this is all like credit card debt, from what I could tell. It's like all credit card debt.
It might also be a car.
Now the car would be on the secured property.
Oh, okay.
That's my fault. I think I said that's real estate, but it would also anything that's going to have a lien on it, your car, your house, those things are going to be secured.
Yeah, he probably has 10,000 in each card, and he's just maxed them all out.
Well, he goes through the individual amounts that are on every card.
Okay.
So we can look at that. His income, him plus a spouse, he claims $5,077.92, and expenses are $5,112.99. So he's insolvent here by his claim. The other thing, so the way Chapter 7 works is it's the test is apparently whether or not you are below the median household income for your state. That's how you go. Let's see, state median income chart. For Washington State Department of Social and Health Services. So median income for two in the family, oh, look at that, is $5,541. So he's below it by, just under $500.
Yeah, and people speculate that is very intentional. Like he's somehow feng shuied this to represent his income just low enough to pass for Chapter 7. Because if it was any higher, he wouldn't have this more lenient bankruptcy available to him at all.
Right, and that is the one risk he runs with this is that Chapter 7 will draw increased scrutiny from the court. And if his creditors are paying attention and know who he is, if they have if he's more than just a faceless number to them, which, he might be, then it is possible that they could raise issue with that.
I can promise you that every point of contact for every creditor that he has listed on this has already gotten 20 emails from people saying like, hey, you need to read this thread. And I'm not saying that I have encouraged that, and I've tried to quell people calling for action to do stuff like that. But there's no point. The people who don't like DSP really don't like DSP.
Well, you can't tell the internet what to do. Like you just can't. They do the opposite almost all the time. That's just how it goes. I've tried to tell people that lately, because not telling them what to do. I've tried to tell them, look, if you try and tell people what to do, they're going to not do it. They're going to do what you don't want them to do, specifically because you told them not to. I wish more people understood that. Okay, so primarily consumer debts. So we're going to have to go. Consumer debts are those incurred by an individual primarily for a personal, family, or household purpose. So there you go. I wonder if on his taxes he tried to write off that $40,000 as a business loss.
Well, he might have a better claim for that, except that he used to stream mobile games, because you can do that now. There's an app where you can stream stuff to Twitch from your phone. But he doesn't stream WWE Legends, because I think people, were catching on to the fact that he was a whale, and they made fun of him for it. And people were like, "Why are you begging for Twitch donations when you're spending all this money on this gacha game? People don't like watching it anyways, But if he had been streaming that game consistently, he could probably write it off as a business expense, because it's like an entertainment thing for his fans. But no,
right, but then he's
ashamed of it.
But then that would be, that would be a business debt. And so that would cause him trouble if he did.
Oh, really?
That. Well, it would change the filing here, right? He's got consumer debts versus business debts. He said he doesn't own a sole proprietorship, so that if he did, he'd be going to Chapter 11 bankruptcy as a business potentially, which would have all sorts of different stuff going on in Chapter 11.
Okay, I have a question. Is he going to go into detail more about his real estate? Okay, because I have a question about that.
Yeah, we're getting there. So he's got his tax debt here. So from the statement of your current monthly income, total current monthly income from the official form 122A, he's got $5,733.01. Is that over here? Here's the current statement. So he's got gross receipts, he's got 9234.53, and then ordinary and necessary operating expenses for his business, $5,243 for his business.
Yeah, I think that's like a general number. It doesn't break down any further, because people have been speculating for 100 pages now. What the fuck? $5,000, because the forum is big. I rent half a rack in a data center. I have 4 different servers. I have a network router, and I have all these different LLCs. I have all this other shit that I buy every month, and it's under $1,000 a month. So what the fuck is he buying in his house to operate a live streaming thing out of?
Yeah, I mean,
it's $5,000.
Well, have you considered possibly that he's building a new computer every month?
He would have to, because my computer isn't $5,000.
Let's see what else we have in this document. I just skimmed this one I skimmed this one to make sure there wasn't anything I needed to redact. So he's got total current monthly income. Yeah, so he's got $39.90.69 plus $17.42.32 for his wife. Multiplied by 12.
Because he claims he doesn't have a business, right? But yet he's claiming business expenses. That was another thing that people were really like,
yeah,
what is he doing?
That's a little bit weird, because those business expenses should come out of his LLC. They shouldn't come out of his personal.
He doesn't have an LLC.
Well, he didn't say that. He said he doesn't have a sole proprietorship.
I don't think he has an LLC, though. I think it's just him and the sole proprietorship.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm just saying, he could have an LLC or something like that. That since he said no on the sole proprietorship, if he was classifying the entity in some other way. But if it's not a sole proprietorship, then it's got to come out of the entity, not out of his personal account. That's all I'm getting at here.
The most expensive thing I can imagine him legitimately having a claim for in regards to his live streaming business is that, which is not a business, as he likes to say, it's not a business, dude, is he gets DDoS attacked while live streaming, which brings down the stream. So what he's done is he has a very fancy setup, an enviable setup, where he has 2 business level connections for probably 100 megabits for each upstream, and if one stream gets DDoS attacked, he can switch quick as possible over to the next line and change his IP address and be fine.
That's just a couple $100 a month, like 200.
Probably not even a tenth of that number. So I mean, really, you got to wonder what the fuck $5,000 comes from.
Yeah, so here he's got his current monthly income details. July, he was $8,200 in income. His expenses were $9,000. Good job. August, $10,000 in income, $5,400 in expenses. September, $8,200, and then $3,150. October, $9,800, and then $4,400. So yeah, I mean, wait a minute. How did he get this? He gets this number by having this massive loss here in or by having this loss here in
well,
July, because
that's another thing that people bring up, is that this is to factor this number, he specifically shows these 6 months, and I don't know if that's a part of the form or what, but it really seems like if you check the dates, it's a very specific time range, and people wonder if he had picked different months, if it would be a completely different number, if there's a specific expense that hit 6 months ago exactly, and his income went down the following months, and that's why he picked those months. And if he had picked other months, it would have been just a completely different set of math for the entire
if he
form.
if he wouldn't have had the July loss on there, I mean, you're talking that's an additional $4,000 to $5,000 of income, right? So let's see, we've got plus 5410.51 plus 4269.05 equals divided by 6. Yeah, but if you multiply that by 5, and then we add 867.65, and then we divide by 5, his 5 it's got to be, did I do that wrong? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what it would be without that 1 month. Maybe it doesn't bring it down as much as I thought it would. 5441.78 plus 1 plus 4269.05 equals divided by 5. Yeah,
your banker heritage is showing, Nick.
Sorry. I have to figure it out. So yeah, if you take off that July amount, he's making $49.62.36 a month. So it's an additional $1,000 a month that gets taken off by that. That's a mess. So what do we have here?
And that's literally, if you think about it, that specific loss and how that adjusts the balance sheet is the basis of the entire filing. If that number is off, if his money is any higher than it is right now, he can't claim Chapter 7. Because from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Chapter 7 is for people who don't make much money, who incur a tragedy, a catastrophic loss of finance, usually hospital bills, their car gets fucked, something like that, and then they can save themselves by filing for the special Chapter 7. And he is essentially taking advantage of it for gratuitous personal spending.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Oh, I mean, is that right? That in the eyes of the court, he's taking advantage of something not really for his situation?
I mean, I think the court's going to have a lot of questions about these expenses, right? Like, or they should. What the hell are you spending this much money on? Because this looks suspicious. It looks calculated, like you say, to come in just under. I mean, the fact that his income plus her income comes in just within a couple $100 of the maximum amount they can have is highly suspicious. I think the court's going to want an accounting, or they should ask for an accounting of what are you expending this on. The creditors should be asking the court to take an accounting. Where are these expenses that he's claiming here?
Even not the creditors. I mean, the creditors probably will, because if they just stop at this first point of contention and say you don't qualify for this because you make too much money, you have to do Chapter 13. Mm-hmm. Then he has to refile his Chapter 13, and that's not what he wants. But there's a name for the adversary. Like, the government has an adversarial relationship to Phil in this instance, right? And he has someone who is going to be looking at this and being no bullshit about the numbers. And is there what's the name of that position?
The trustee.
The trustee. So the trustee has a job of looking at this and questioning its validity, right?
Yeah, the trustee acts as like a liaison between the bankruptcy estate and the creditors, and then they, if there's anything they can take or liquidate, they would then do so. But again, the remedy is going to be Chapter 13 versus Chapter 7, because we have to assume that he doesn't have any of the money. So he may be lying about his expenses coming from a business, but does he have that money in there if he doesn't have the money, they can't take it. You know what I mean?
Well, he's got equity in his Washington condo, and that's another thing that I'm saving for.
No, he doesn't have equity in his Washington condo.
He does because it's appreciated in value.
So you're saying that the amount that he put down for the value is
it's
Washington condo. I thought we were talking about Connecticut.
No. There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot. There's something special about the Washington condo to say, and about the Connecticut condo that he lied about twice.
Okay. Well, let me just say one thing. I looked up the exemptions for Washington State, and because the exemptions really do matter on bankruptcy, and Washington State has a, where did it go? They have an equity exemption of like $126,000 in equity.
Yes.
On the condo.
And at some point, I don't know if we're there yet. I think this is it. Is this the Washington condo that I'm looking at? No, this is the Connecticut condo.
Connecticut, yeah.
There is a checkbox, and I don't know. I think it's probably above this, and I missed it. But it specifically asks, are you dealing with a bankruptcy, or not a bankruptcy, but a foreclosure at the current moment? And he says no. But the answer is yes, because the bank in Connecticut has filed a foreclosure on his Connecticut property, and that's what prompted his investigation into filing bankruptcy to begin with. But he hasn't responded to the foreclosure in Connecticut. So we're curious on the forum if that is deceptive to say that you're not facing a foreclosure. It specifically says, I think the wording is, are you party to a foreclosure? And he says no, but he is. It just hasn't responded to it yet.
There would be a question on whether or not he's been properly served notice of the foreclosure. Like
he has. I think it's on the records already.
Well, there could be notice of the foreclosure out there. You could know about it, but if they haven't, and I don't know, it would depend on if they've properly, under the law, served it upon you. So it depends on when they did the foreclosure, if they followed the steps correctly and all of that stuff. If he was properly notified. If he's not, he could know about the foreclosure but not have effective service, and then legally claim that he's not party to it yet.
He's acknowledged the foreclosure in Connecticut on stream, by the way. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that... do you remember in the Maddox lawsuit, though, Asterios, he tweeted out the first page of the lawsuit, right? The lawsuit when Maddox sent it. But they didn't actually serve Asterios the paperwork at the time that he tweeted it out. He downloaded it, or someone downloaded it and sent it to him from the New York court website. He hadn't been served. So he knew about it, he acknowledged it, and still service wasn't actually effective until that's
funny, because I know the US has very strict rules on servicing, but I didn't know you could say, I know this is happening, but
until they actually get the document to you in the appropriate way, you are not served a lawsuit. So it's
very funny.
It's possible. Now, banks tend to be pretty good about service of bankruptcy notices because they're so strict on it, especially with the 2008 stuff. The courts got so strict over the past decade, really, on how they deal with banks, because they regarded how the banks were acting as scummy, and it's so prejudicial to have someone's home get taken from them. So they really tightened up this stuff and provided a lot of consumer protections. I'm not saying he wasn't served, but it's that would be one plausible explanation as to how he could legitimately claim it. But so homestead exemption in Washington is $125,000 of equity in the principal residence. So that's the maximum he can claim there. You don't get an exemption in your secondary residence, but his secondary property is this is the Connecticut property here, and that is, as we'll see in a little bit, that is underwater by a good amount, something like $40,000.
And the bank owns that debt outright, so they're going to want that money.
Yeah, well, they have basically a security up to the value of the home, and then everything else would be unsecured debt, so it'll be handled like a credit card, that $40,000. So if he gets Chapter 7, that'll go away if he surrenders the property. So this is his Washington it's apparently a single family home, so that's not a condo. I thought it was I didn't know if it was a condo or whatever, but it's a freestanding home. Current value is $344,890 from Zillow, which he says $379,000 less 9% cost of sale of $34,110. So
that's another thing that people were curious about, is that there is I'm sorry, I don't remember the specifics, but there's something about Washington State in this Chapter 7 where the value of the house, the current value of the property, is extremely important. Because if it's over a certain amount, I think it's like $35,000 or $350,000, you could lose the house. And based on his estimate there, he has like $379,000 less 9% cost of sale. And then that comes just under the mark, so he can keep the house no matter what happens with the bankruptcy. And people were curious about including the realtor fees in the property, if that is also deceptive on the filing.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that 350,000. Let's see, amount. I wish I had some sort of citation on that, because what I'm seeing is just the 125,000 of equity that's out there. Now, what's his? Based on the loan amount, I think he would be over the 125,000 in equity. So that it might be that simple. That this 9% cost of sale, which I'm not sure how he's getting 9% as the cost of sale.
Because it puts them, whatever the math is, I'm sorry, I don't remember it, but whatever the math is, it very specifically puts it right under that. And the same with the initial filing with the Chapter 7. It's like he tweaks the numbers to get it just right. And it's very obvious to people in the thread. Yeah.
Now, I will say that this is probably a very common part of bankruptcy practice, tweaking the numbers to get them just right. Like that's... but the problem for most people, the blessing for most people, is that their lives aren't so public, right? So there's no one verifying this stuff.
Someone in chat says it's the $125,000 exemption he is over because he stated property value on the bankruptcy form. He lied and lowered it.
Yeah, let's see. So we've got we'll get down to the thing. We can do the math when it breaks it down more specifically. So he's got the Toyota Corolla, current value listed as $15,853 from Kelley Blue Book. He's only got 5,000 miles on the car. Why even own a car? You never drive it.
No, I think his car is like 3 years old and he has 5,000 miles on it, and it's like a expensive car, isn't it? No, it's just a Toyota Corolla, but
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's just a mid-range sedan from 2017. So this is probably an accurate value on Kelley Blue Book. But I mean, just why own a car if you're never going to drive it? I drive 5,000 miles a day. No, it just feels like it sometimes. Okay, so electronics. No televisions, radios, audio, video, stereo, and digital equipment, and computers, printers, scanners, music collections, electronic devices, cell phones. Doesn't own a cell phone. Cameras, media players, and games.
He has all of those things in multiple amounts. He has like visibly in the background of every stream he does, there is this pile of shit. There are recent streams where he is showing the ground, and he has a fucking PlayStation virtual reality goggle set, which is like $600 just laying on the floor. Like, very clearly he's lying about this.
The only way to get around the lie is to say that it's owned by the business. But saying his cell phone is owned by the business would be a huge stretch, I think.
Well, he does play WWE Legends.
Big Guy says that Phil has a 500 Blu-ray collection next to his 50-inch 3D TV in his family room.
Well, that's another thing, is that there's a thing in this asking if he's received $600 in gifts. The PS4 that he has and the TV that he has were gifts. People straight up gave him those things, and they are worth $600 by themselves. And that's another thing that he lied about on this form.
He's great. Collectibles of value, nothing. Doesn't own a single thing.
He doesn't have an entire room dedicated to his fucking hoard of man-child toys. That doesn't exist. You can't go into his house right now and find it.
No sports and hobbies. This guy doesn't do or have anything. It's amazing. No firearms. He does have clothes, miscellaneous clothing and shoes, $500. I mean, do you realize that like 2 pairs of shoes is $100 worth of shoes, right?
I have 2 pairs of shoes. I don't think I have $500 worth of shit in my luggage. Maybe.
Yeah, but
me
again,
and
you're an international hobo. You don't count.
He's basically a hobo.
You have to put everything in the overhead bin on a train. Like that's the life you live. You're a weird sort of David Carradine. Don't asphyxiate yourself.
I can believe that Darkside Phil has like at most like 3 outfits, and it barely. I don't even think it comes to $500. I bet you that's overestimating how much shit he has to wear.
This guy, I don't think so. When you really get down to it, I don't buy it. Like, does he wear pants? Does he wear jeans?
His jeans probably come from Goodwill. $10.
No.
Yeah.
People are telling me that he used to have a Beamer. He used to have a BMW, right?
Look, he doesn't have to have taste. He can have a Beamer and wear Goodwill clothes in it. That's a reality.
Someone who buys a Beamer will at least buy like a pair of Levi's, like at least one.
And then they would depreciate in value because maybe he's saying they're all worn clothes, so now they're at Goodwill pricing. Even if he did buy it new, I'm standing for Darkside Phil here.
You do it.
$500 worth of shit to wear.
You impale yourself on that sword all day. He does have miscellaneous jewelry worth $200.
Oh yeah, he has like a watch. I'm sure it's a watch that he bought off Amazon to go on a date with. Oh, God. That's $200.
He has a stack of loot boxes and fake loot boxes. All my shoes are from over the last decade. At most, I buy $20 worth of shoes. I wear shorts, $365 from Goodwill. You guys have better austerity than I do.
That's why we don't have $130,000 for credit card debt.
Yeah, well, I don't either. But I mean, I wear comfortable jeans. That's
well, you can buy. You've made enough money off super chats to go buy yourself some Levi's. The rest of us are going to Goodwill.
Most of them predate super chats. To be fair, I don't shop for clothes that often. Non-farm animals. He has a cat.
He has a cat named Jasper, and now there is the JQ, the Jasper question: who the fuck owns this cat? Because I think he's had it since before he knew Ket. Cat, the wife.
I thought his cat has to be worth like at least $1,000, right? Like I found that out because he brought it on stream for like $1,000 or whatever.
So yeah, I know the cat exists. We know it exists. People have been arguing for literally 50 pages about who owns this cat, and we're curious if it's Cat's cat or if it's his cat or if it's the if it's the business's cat.
See, now I'm getting hell for my shorts. Guys, what would be really sad is if you found out how much my terrible shorts cost. That would make you more mad.
Wait, does he have a horse? Are you people full of shit? He doesn't have a horse. Where would DSP keep a horse? No, he just has a cat. He doesn't have a horse.
I hope he has a horse too. Like I want
because he wouldn't take care of a horse. That's a lot of work. Cat can empty the shit box for the cat, but she's not going to take care of a horse. She already has Phil to take care of.
Synac 8 says you forgot the $200 silver snack tray for Cat's boyfriend. Oh, that's not good.
They're saying Cat's the horse. Okay, I got it. I'm one page now.
Okay, gotcha. Cat's the horse. Perfect. So, any other personal and household items you did not already list, including any health aids you did not list? So, no household items. No, I guess furnishings? Like no chairs or couches exist?
Oh, in regards to that even, is I think he has one of those cripple masks that the one guy did that he had a crowdfund.
He has $3,000 of household goods. I missed it because of this line here. It threw me off.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying that he had a cripple mask, like that one guy had a crowdfund. Well, what are
A
those called?
CPAP
Yes,
machine.
yes, he has one of those, I think. So if he has no other furnishings in that house, he has that mask.
That should be a health aid right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cash. He's got cash money of $601. Boom. Boom. I wonder if there's a bankruptcy exemption for cash.
Oh, he has a snore strap, not a CPAP. My bad.
Let's see. Man, if he was smart, he would have been dumping all of his money into a trust to pay him. That's exempt. Trust income is exempt from Washington bankruptcy stuff. Okay, where are we? Deposits of money. He's got a Bank of America checking account with $460. This guy's got $1,000. He can double his wardrobe, no problem.
Okay, here's a fun point of contention that everyone in chat wants me to bring up, but I've been waiting for this point. We know for sure that Darkside Phil is in possession of a PayPal account, but nowhere in this document does he mention that he is in possession of a PayPal account. Is that a critical omission?
If there's any money in it, yeah. Yeah, I would consider a PayPal account to be like a bank account,
because
deposit account.
The thing that people are saying that maybe he just he doesn't keep any money there, and that's why he omits it. But people think that he's hiding the dragon's jewels in that PayPal account.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, so examples, and these examples are non-exhaustive. Checkings, savings, or other financial accounts, certificates of deposit, shares in credit unions, brokerage houses, and other similar institutions. You have multiple accounts, the same institution, list each. So yeah, he should have. I mean, I would say that a PayPal is another financial account,
because it's not just a bank account. It's not just the PayPal account that you use to buy shit online. Like all of his tip money, every dollar he makes goes through that PayPal account. So it's a weird thing to admit, even if you don't keep money in it.
Yeah, Twitch likely deposits directly into it. I know mine does. My Twitch deposits directly into my PayPal account. It's just easier. Bonds, mutual funds, or publicly traded stocks? No. Non-publicly traded stocks? No. Government and corporate bonds? No. Retirement or pension? No. Security deposits and prepayments? No. Annuities? No. No IRAs. No trusts or future interests in property. No patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, or other intellectual property. And no licenses, franchises, and other general intangibles. Tax refunds owed to you? No. Family support? No. Other amounts someone owes you? No. Interest in insurance policies? No. Property that is due to you from someone who has died? So no wills. No claims against third parties. No unliquidated claims of every nature. And any financial assets you did not already list? Yes. Business assets, 1,500. Maybe that's his PayPal account.
Maybe. Someone was curious. He is not just facing debtors, by the way. He's also squared up against the IRS. He's on a payment plan already for 2019 or 2018, and he's expecting to have to fight the IRS again for 2019. I think those are the years. Don't quote me on that, but. He has, from what I understand, he has a payment plan from 2018, and he has used his consumer credit cards to pay the IRS. Let's just say that he gets through this Chapter 7, will the debt payments to the IRS be discharged?
He has a $15,000 debt from 2018, right? That's what he's claiming here. That should blow a hole in his income and expenses argument immediately. Like, that should make the court immediately suspicious.
Yeah, because he's been making less money every year. So just even from 2017, 2018, his income was significantly higher than it is right now.
Yeah, but I mean, his two-person tax bracket, you've got a 25 grand exemption. Or wait, no, he was solo in 2018, right? He got married in 2019.
Yes, April 2019 was his marriage.
Okay, so he gets a $13,500 exemption. He's still got to be making six figures in 2018.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
To get a $15,000 tax bill. Again, he's got. If the bankruptcy judge is paying attention, I mean, he's got so many red flags. It'll be interesting. Dollar amount 2561. Do you own or have any legal or equitable interest in any business-related property? No. Wait.
Yeah, that's another thing, because he claims that he has a home office, I'm pretty sure. That part of his equity is part of his business. But he also claims that he has no equity in business-related property.
Yeah, but it's any legal or it's not business-related real property. It's business-related property.
Oh, yeah, okay.
His computer, if it's not personal property, is business property.
Yeah.
So his all of his electronics and stuff, that would still be business property. Do you own or have any legal or equitable interest in any farm or commercial fishing-related property? No, I believe that. Do you have any other property of any kind that you did not already list? No. No season tickets or country club memberships. All right. So total real estate, $405,000. Oh, excuse me. Total vehicles, $15,853. Personal and household items, $3,700. There's no way it's that low. I don't care what anybody says. Total financial assets, $2,561.
Here's a personal experience. The court probably won't believe that, even if it is 100% true. Because I remember when my mom's house caught on fire, we filed for insurance claims.
Yeah.
And we put something like $22,000 for the entire value of everything inside the house. And the maximum was like $50,000 for the claim. And they said, we think you undervalued your property.
Yeah, because everybody does. I mean, everybody undervalues the property. Personal property. It's one of the biggest problems in homeowners insurance claims is that people realize how much it costs to replace all their stuff when they have to do it. $3,700. A fridge, an oven, and a microwave and a washer and dryer is $4,000, right? Like minimum. Yeah. That's for cheap stuff. It's crazy to think you have $3,700 in your kitchen, like almost guaranteed. This is a $400,000 house. Should we look up his Should we look up his property? The
value on the paper is the current Zillow evaluation.
I was just gonna see what it looked like how big it was and stuff like that, how new. Because I mean, a judge is gonna look at this and be like, "Are you serious? $3,700 in your household items? That's it? Like a washer dryer that's made in the last 10 years is $1,500, even if it's cheap for those two things." TVs, anything. God.
Apparently, his coffee maker is $500.
Yeah,
and he said no.
I saw someone say that. Okay, so current value of the portion you own. So this is his thing. $344,890. Amount of exemption you can claim is $125,000. Toyota Corolla, $15,853. Amount of the exemption is $1,525. Is that? Hold on, let's see. The exemptions on a car, automobile, where's that? Motor vehicle exemption. The debtor can exempt up to $3,250 in one motor vehicle. So he's actually under here because he owes so much on his car still that he's actually not taking all of his exemption on the car. That's nice of him.
Well, is he at risk of losing the vehicle, his primary vehicle?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he's well under the exemption he can claim is $3,250, and he's only claiming $1,525 because he owes like $12,000 something dollars on the car. So as long as he's paying his car note, he's fine.
Okay.
So because they won't take his car to try and liquidate it because it's not actually worth this much. This is the value of the car, but he owes something like $12,800 on it or whatever, which we'll get to in a little bit, or more than that. He's got to owe $13,300 or whatever.
Oh.
Miscellaneous house. Oh, what? Sorry.
Not to backtrack, I think he might mention this a little bit up ahead, but in regards to the cat question, and this is something that we need to point out because it was talked about for so long. He claims he does not have any non-farm animals, but he will claim at some point in this document, he may have already claimed in this document, that he spends $100 a month on pet food.
Right.
How can this be?
It's other people's pets. He's a pet cuckold.
But he feeds them.
He's a pet cuckold feeder. So he's gonna.
Oh no!
He buys cat food for like his neighbor, and then he goes over to his house and looks through the binoculars and watches his neighbor feed the cat.
Oh my god!
Miscellaneous household goods $3,000, clothing and shoes $500. Yeah, and I think his clothing and shoes exemption is much higher than this. Yeah, he could claim $3,500 for furs, jewelry, and personal ornaments per person. So he could have claimed more stuff there. So maybe he does only have $500 worth of stuff. Maybe I don't know.
I bet you I'm right. I'm going to be proven right by the passage of time. The creditors are going to come in there, tally everything up, and it's going to be like $4.99.
I'm surprised the Kiwis haven't like logged the value of his clothes based
all the
on
clothes
his streams.
He's worn on all his streams and looked them up on Amazon, got the exact value and the depreciation of jeans over time.
I don't know. The jeans depreciate in value unless they get torn, right?
Then they appreciate.
Yeah, then they get. Well, it depends where the rips are. If they're in all the right places, you know. $200 for jewelry, $600 cash, $460 in the Bank of America account. Business assets of $1,500. Are you claiming a homestead exemption of more than $170,350? No. So he's not. He doesn't answer. Oh wait, that's only if yes. So he must have. It doesn't matter there. Okay, so creditors who have. Here's the secured claim. So here's his. Okay, so yeah, this math. This is why. Yeah, that. So he owes $227,448. If his house was actually worth that $379, that brings him over the $125 easy.
And but he could lose his house, right? If it's over that.
Yeah. Okay, they could choose to foreclose his property, sell it at auction, and then distribute any additional income to creditors. Because
the logic of the government is if you have a house that's worth more than $125,000, it's time to downgrade because you're bankrupt, right?
Well, they'll say if you have the equity over $125,000, then you should be tapping into that equity to pay your other creditors.
Oh, would they force him to get a lien, or would they force him to sell?
I don't know. I mean, they usually they would sell. They typically can't force an obligation like another debt because they'd also be forcing some company to incur the debt.
Yeah.
So
that's the main thing that actually from the forum was concerned about, because it seems like on every page of this document, the primary concern of Phil is to ensure that he will keep that house. And even on live stream, he was saying how, because people were taunting him and saying, like, you're going to lose the house. And he's like, no, dude, I promise you, no matter what happens, the house is fine. I'm not going to lose the house. So that's his big concern, and what I think a lot of people are interested in is what's the over under of the house being sold?
That's a good question. That's a really
because
good
it's
question.
Really the only thing he has of any value.
Yeah, and it's the only thing he lists of any value. I wonder if this 9% cost of sale is a statutory thing, because the foreclosure, if they foreclose upon it, they're going to lose value. The cost of the foreclosure alone is expensive.
Because it feels like if they just listed it honestly, the judge will look at it and go, well, that's over the limit. We have to consider the house now. But listing the realtor value might just pass that really simple sanity check and keep them going on to the next thing.
Yeah, it might. It might, but someone did say that this 379 was based on a value from 2016, so it could have appreciated from there. Likely did.
And it likely has, because it's Washington, and all
Right.
the real estate in that area is going way up.
Mm-hmm. What was I looking up? Oh, I looked up his Patreon. His Patreon is $376 a month.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was making more than that. I think it's been tanking, because again, the detractors, the trolls.
I didn't Graftry on it. It could have been higher before, but that's what it's at right now.
It definitely was at some point. The big joke right now is that a long time ago, when he was still popular with people and not everyone hated him, he crowdfunded. I think it was a Patreon stretch goal of several $1,000s to make this. I don't know what the fuck it was. I want to say it's like just a creative effort with YouTube videos called Project 7. And now, many years later, Project 7 does not exist, but Chapter 7 does.
Back in January of 2019, he was at $583 a month, and it's been on a steady but slow decline to where it is now. So he wasn't making a ton on Patreon ever. But I think he says on his Patreon that it's mainly just Twitch. See. After being blindsided by the loss of my full-time office job in 2010, I became partnered and have been making video game live streams, playthroughs, and vlogs ever since. 2013, I adopted direct capture and live streaming, and I now stream most days on twitch.tv. Adopting a more stream-focused style of gameplay content has proven incredibly successful over the last year and reinvigorated my style of Let's Play. However, sadly, in the summer of 2018, my 8-year running YouTube channel, DSP Gaming, was demonetized due to factors outside of my control, and now I rely primarily on income from my Twitch streaming channel as well as my Patreon. To keep going, your support is greatly appreciated. So there you go.
It's been a rough couple of years.
Poor Phil.
I don't know. A lot of people really genuinely don't like Phil, but I have trouble hating him, or even just not liking him. I think of him as a goofy person, and it's hard for me to seriously dislike him. But a lot of people do, man. A lot of people don't like him. He's the pig roach.
Ben Meekins. Oh, excuse me. I am young. I got so tired right before the show. I've been waking up like way earlier in the day. My sleep schedule got ruined by my kids being sick, so I've been waking up at like between 6 and 9 a.m.
They're not goofing, are they? They don't have the Wuhan flu.
No. They all had the vomits for like one day each. It was great. Just fantastic.
Just one to the other, so it never stacked on any specific day?
Yeah, no, it stacked on a couple of them. It was like a 3-day period for all the 5 kids. But it was like every 30 minutes, like clockwork, I was cleaning up vomit. It was perfect. You guys want to know about that, right? Like that's what we should be talking about on this stream. Let's get back to Phil here and his sadness. Okay, so here's his other one. This is his condo. So his condo is worth $60,611 according to his Zillow estimate, but he owes $105,890, which means he's $45,279 underwater. And I wonder when he bought this thing. I bet he just tanked it.
2008 for the Connecticut home. It was specifically 2008.
Oh, I was joking when I said that.
No, 2008.
So he bought it right before the mortgage crisis.
Well, I mentioned my mom's house, and she bought her house at like $200,000 in 2008. Yeah. Right before the crash, and then it like lost half its value, and then it caught on fire, and it was covered for the full amount, so it worked out perfectly.
Seems a little suspicious. I'm just saying.
I know, right? We had a good cover story, trust me.
Yeah, I believe it. None. So here's his car, 15,853, and he owes 14,328. So that puts his exemption amount. That's why it's at 1,500. So no, he's in no danger of losing the car. Very important, I hear, for his wife to get to work in that car. So here's the values: 347,666. So now we get to go to the unsecured creditors. And guys, if you want to know how to ruin your financial life, just take advice from Phil here. This is how you do it. You have your $15,000 to the IRS that he owes, so that's nice. For 2018 back taxes. And then here are the non-priority unsecured claims. American Express, 1128. That's not that much. Good job. No. But he has a second American Express for 6422. So
maybe they give him two. What the fuck is the point of that?
Look, you can get all kinds of credit cards because they're so American Express is, if you look at it as a payment processor rather than a credit card company, I mean, they're a brand that licenses out their card usage to banks, right? So there's a bank that makes an American Express, or that issues an American Express card that American Express does the processing for. And all of that.
Okay, I have a general question. How many credit cards? And everyone in chat, I want your participation. How many credit cards do you have total?
I can do this. I have two credit cards. I used to have 4 at one point, because there was a point really between losing my job and graduating law school. Where, you know, we had to carry some credit card debt. But lots of 1s, 2s, 0s. I see some 3s.
I'm shocked by all the people who have no credit cards. That's impressive. It's a good thing, because there's a saying that when my mom got really big into finance at one point, and the one thing I remember from her reading her books about money is in a saying that if you have $5 in your pocket and no credit card debt, you are richer than the average American.
Oh yeah, so by a long shot.
If you have no debt, you have no credit cards, keep it up. That is the good shit right there. I have quite a few because I have to juggle money in a spastic manner. But yeah, I'm very impressed because Phil has 13. I think once you pass double digits with credit cards, you might want to reconsider what you're doing.
I would imagine you juggling credit cards in a spastic manner. Like, not the debt. I mean, literally the credit cards themselves.
Yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I decide what to pay each thing for. I just throw them up in the air and pick one.
That's how it goes, man. Most people, many people have been there, self-included. I remember, like, you know, paying. It's like, okay, which one of these is going to be late this month? I loved when Congress got rid of the late fees on credit cards. That was great. Or the late penalties and stuff like that.
He has 14. I don't know why I've been saying 13. I guess 13 is a funnier number than 14.
Yeah, it is. 14 is a sad number. He's got a Bank of America card. This one has 26 grand on it. Then he's got another BMW Bank of North America. I don't know what that.
He doesn't even have a BMW.
2741. Maybe he's still paying it off.
Oh God!
Wouldn't that be funny if he was still paying off his? I don't think this isn't his car note though. This is something else.
No, it's like he really thought he was fucking cool getting a BMW and a BMW Bank of America car. He's like in the club now, man. He's like a cool hip dude with his BMW.
Yeah, I can only get a Ford Bank of America card. Capital One, 10,751. Chase. He's got $14,100 here. Like, imagine how depressing his mail is at the beginning of every month.
Oh, fuck that. He better subscribe for paperless. Otherwise, he's killing some trees.
Like, but the amount, just seeing those amounts, like, that's dispiriting, right? Like, you open all that mail. It's like, I got to pay $130 on this one. I got to pay $60 on this one. I got to pay $250 on this one. Oh my God, it's got to be daunting.
Any handwritten notes from my fans, my hundreds of thousands of fans? No, just credit card debts. Okay, I'm gonna go back inside and play WWE Legends for a couple more hours.
What's the highest amount of credit cards I've heard of someone having? I think one of my grandparents had just a shitload because they had an issue with it. But I don't know what the number of her was. 10 would have been an amazing number to me. 14's a lot. I don't know. Have you ever heard of anybody with this many cards?
With 14 cards? No, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't think of ever having any more. City, he's got 8508 to City. Another City card, 13885. So that's 2 City cards so far. 3 City cards, 15601. I think City's got to be like, we made a mistake. It was at this point that City realized they fucked up.
They weren't seeing this money back ever.
Discovery. He's got 10. How's he get these credit limits? Like they are.
Because I guarantee you.
Oh, I know how. He goes in and he says, "Well, I make 10 grand a month."
Yeah. Well, it's that, and he does have a degree in business finance, so he must know what to say to get the good credit limits. I guarantee you what it is, because he bragged about his credit score for a very long time. He said he had fantastic credit score.
He doesn't now.
Not anymore. But I guarantee you, he just pays the minimums, and that's great. If you get a credit card, here's my financial advice, not legally financial advice, but in general, if you're just starting out in life and you don't have any credit and you're thinking you might get a house or a car in a couple of years, get a card and buy something and just slowly pay it off.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to do to get a fantastic credit score. It's not rocket surgery. It's not brain science. You just give them more money than what you bought. Yeah.
You should. You buy like one TV for like $1,000 and pay the minimum payment every month.
Buy yourself a Bing Bing Wahoo toy and just pay that off very slowly. And after 6 months, you'll have a great credit score. And when you go to buy a car, your life will be a lot easier.
So he's probably going into these banks saying he makes 10, 15 grand a month. I'm famous, famous Twitch streamer. Yeah, maybe you've heard of me. Dark Side Phil, expert at Dark Souls. And yeah, so then they're going to give, these are not impressive credit limits. They're impressive credit limits for someone who has so little in their life. Lending Club Corporation. So Lending Club, that's nice. 9,300 there. Prosper Marketplace, 4,355. And then he's got a Sam's Club card for $3,800 to Sam's Club. And then another $4,700 to US Bank. God, that's depressing.
Yes. So now would be a good time to ask another question from Actually.
Yeah, of course.
He is curious, what are the chances of, should a court date come, and I guess he does literally physically have to go to court to face the music on this, what are the odds of the creditors being there?
They'll probably send someone, or they'll be teleconferenced in, I would assume.
So each of these banks is going to send a person to, like, I guess, what do? Do they talk with the trustee? Do they talk with him about?
Well, they would raise any objections that they have to any of these numbers. They'd say,
okay, so you're going to have 13 different banks sitting there saying this doesn't make any sense.
If they choose to. They could just, some of these banks, $3,800 for Sam's Club, they might just say, oh, whatever, it's a loss, who cares? But Bank of America with this 26 grand, that's an amount they might want to try and keep,
Yeah, or get equity from this house to pay off, because they're getting screwed if they don't.
Yeah. So it depends on the creditor if they want to deal with it, but they theoretically could send someone to raise objections to any of these amounts, because they're going to be looking at these documents prior to that hearing. They may be filing something. We'll have to watch and see what comes
if
up.
They make a movie about this, they'll have to call it 14 Angry Banks.
Yeah. No, it's got to be, if you make a movie, it's artistic license. It's got to be 13 Angry Banks.
Okay. Yeah. One of them doesn't show up. Yeah. That's why the lowest limit doesn't show up at all.
Right. Well, one Sam's Club, so. So yeah, he's back to the tax amount is there. But yeah, so all of those credit cards add up to $131,550.28. God, it's a lot of unsecured debt. Poof.
What do you I guarantee you, when you look at the business expenses, I guarantee you he's including like the interest on his cards.
Yeah, I think he's including his credit card payments. I think that's that's the only way I think he's including his mortgage too.
Yeah, it has to be the mortgage. It has to be all his payments. All his payments for everything is included under a business expense, because he's just treading water, spending 5 times what most people make every month, just treading water.
Most people make more than $1,000 a month. To be fair,
well, just saying,
his
a lot of money.
His Kroger wife makes more than $1,000 a month. So.
Yes, okay. Well, she works part time.
I know you're international hobo extraordinaire, but
I am very appreciative of what I get. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so he's no executory contracts or unexpired leases. Co-debtors, no co-debtors. Within the last 8 years, have you lived in a community property, state, or territory? Yes. Washington State. Your spouse, former spouse, or legal equivalent lived with you at the time? Yes. He just doesn't list which one he lived in, so that's good.
Yeah, that's just confusing.
It's just a mistake, just stupidity. Should have put Washington down. The income. He lists himself as employed, but then he lists self-employed. I mean,
but what entity is he employed by? The sole proprietorship, or that doesn't exist, or does he have an LLC? I don't think he has an LLC.
He's a content creator.
He's just utterly fucking confused by what to check for anything.
He doesn't list how long he's been a content creator at self-employed.
But if you listen to any of his streams, he'll quickly remind you how long he's been doing live streams on YouTube. So he knows. He just admits it.
So gross wages, salary, and commissions, she makes $1349.92. That's less than than they put at the other one, right? It's here. Doesn't he list her income as 17 something
with that too?
Yeah, 1742.32.
Because I think on that one number, he uses that to calculate.
Oh, she gets tax, Medicare, Social Security, and deductions.
Okay.
That reduces it. That reduces it.
Yeah, no, that number is the one he uses to determine their net income for the purposes of filing Chapter 7. The subsequent number is the true one. So he fudges that number too.
Oh my God. So he has no deductions on payroll here for himself, some insurance, union dues, taxes, and Medicare. Then he's got his own net income, $39.90.69. Beautiful. Beautiful. So then that comes out to the $50.77. This is yeah, he's got $57.33.01 here.
Yeah, and if you put in what Kat actually makes, it would be over. So he has to fudge her numbers too.
Yeah.
He fudges everything, and that's why it seems like maliciously deceitful.
Let's see. Add the amount. Do you expect to increase or decrease within the year after you file this form? No.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
he expects a loss.
Even if you don't expect a loss, like streaming income is so volatile. Like he could expect an increase or a loss. Let's see. So here we go. Your expenses. Is this a joint case? No. Do you have dependents? No. Expenses include expenses of people other than yourself or your dependents? No. Expenses. The rental or home ownership expenses for your residence, $1,830. So that's his mortgage payments. And then he's got home maintenance, repair, and upkeep expenses of $360 a month. Utilities, electricity, heat, natural gas, $150.
Here's a good point. As I mentioned, the two fucking business lines. He doesn't list his internet bills under utilities. Why?
It's not a utility.
It specifically says cable services.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It should be there.
Internet,
That's like his biggest utility expenses.
Well, he's probably these are personal expenses that he's doing here.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't count.
So if he's counting his internet as a business expense.
And I think some people were saying that he's clarified on stream that one is like a personal line, the other is a business line. Well, it's like, okay, well, you should be listing one of them here too. It's a complete mess. If you actually like, if any of those banks decide to send anybody who even casually looks at this document, it's immediately obvious to a layman who has never heard of Phil that this is bullshit.
Oh man, to spend only $600 a month on food. Kids are so expensive. Good God. Clothing, laundry, and dry cleaning, $100 a month. He spends, listen to this. He allegedly spends 1/5 of the amount of cost of clothing he has, of total clothing he has per month on laundry, dry cleaning and clothing. This guy has more than $500 worth of clothes if he's spending $100.
Or he just thinks that he spends $100 on like laundry detergent.
Maybe he's like the Rain Man, like Dustin Hoffman. He's like, how much do you spend on laundry? About $100.
He takes his worn jeans to the dry cleaners.
Yeah, they cost $100. How much for your personal care products and services? About $100. Like toothpaste. How much toothpaste this guy using in a month? He doesn't shave, right?
No, he has gout. He has to take care of the gout. So
transportation include gas, maintenance, bus or train fare. No car payments. $100. About $100. And then $100 on entertainment, clubs, recreation, magazines, newspapers, and books. But he doesn't own any of these things. He doesn't own any magazines or books or newspapers.
And if he's including his gotcha game, it should be like $10,000, not $100.
Let's see. So health insurance, he's paying $307.99.
You skipped over the fact he has a big fat goose egg for charitable contributions and religious donations.
Hey, listen. You can't compel charity.
It's 10% to the church, man. You got to give it up to God.
Now whose merchant side is showing?
Oh no.
We'll take 10% of the wheat and birds too. Health and vehicle insurance he's got on here. His tax payment is apparently $500 a month. That's nice. Car payments for vehicle 1, $380 a month. Cell phone, which he doesn't own. Remember, he doesn't own this. According to himself, he doesn't own a cell phone. $160 a month. What kind of plan is that? No alimony.
Yeah, that's a lot.
No alimony or maintenance. For a solo cell phone, that's expensive.
No, it's just paying for cats too, and he's listing that, but she's not a debtor.
Even that's kind of expensive for both of them.
Well, mine's $70, but I have a plan that lets me get international.
Yeah, so I guess two of them would.
Two of them, and on like I think the T-Mobile Magenta Plus is $80. If he has like 2 T-Mobile lines for him and Cat, that'd be like $160.
Yeah,
I guess
2 unlimited lines will do it. Other real property expenses not included in lines. Mortgages on other property. He has a mortgage on another property, right? Like he has a mortgage on his Connecticut home. That should be listed there.
Yes.
Real estate taxes. I guess he doesn't pay those.
It's not that he doesn't have them. He just doesn't pay them.
He has 2 properties, but he doesn't pay those real estate taxes. And he has no property, homeowners, or renters insurance.
He's in a gated community. He has to have a homeowner's insurance.
But homeowners association or condominium dues? Nope. Wrong.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's just wrong. That's just like anybody can look at this and say you have 2 houses. You pay taxes presumably on them.
Wait, so then he has miscellaneous personal care, miscellaneous and personal hygiene. That should have been covered up here. And it's also $100. $100 in pet food, pet care for the pet that he doesn't have.
He has homeowners on both. So I don't know how the hell he is claiming.
He could have made these monthly expenses really high, but he chose not
to. I feel like we've spent more time correcting this than he spent filling this out. Because there's no way he's trying to bullshit the courts in 14 different banks.
His monthly net income could be much, much lower than this. Why didn't he do that? Like, someone said he stopped paying the mortgage on the other house in April, but he still owes that debt. Like, that's still an expense. Just because he's not incurring it doesn't... I mean, he is actually technically still incurring it. They can come and foreclose on the property. Real estate taxes baffles me. Why wouldn't you put this stuff in? This is where you'd want it.
Yeah,
right?
This is like stuff that you can point to and demonstrably prove as a real expense that is causing you financial problems, as opposed to the mysterious $5,000 that you can't explain.
I am underwater on this stuff. So what did he claim was his monthly expenses? He claimed ordinary and necessary operating expenses. This amount is so close to this amount.
To the limit. Yeah.
To his 52. I wonder if he's combining these and then double dipping on the expenses. Okay, so he makes negative $35 a month. Good job. You should probably find a second job. Declaration about an individual's debtor's schedules. Resigns. Statement of financial affairs for individuals. He's married. He's not lived anywhere else in the past 3 years.
I can't claim that.
Within the last 8 years, did you ever live with a spouse in community property state? Yes. Explain your sources of income. So, operating a business. He doesn't list his gross income here.
Is he claiming that Cat lived in like project housing?
This is a huge lie. This is gross income.
Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. If you add up if you multiply his monthly income, his gross income by 12, we do not get 56,000.
Yeah, he makes this in under 6 months, according to his own calculations. So this is a big screw up. Good job, idiot.
I think we meant net, maybe.
This would be his. This is still low for his net income. Although if you, no, I guess because he had that loss. I mean, he listed $875 loss or whatever in July.
That's still gross. He shouldn't be considering his.
No, I know, but if he was doing net income, that's how you.
It might add up. Yeah, it would be.
Number.
Yeah, and 2018 being higher is coincides with income.
Yeah, but it should be much higher because he's doing net here too. I bet because the judge would be pissed if he comes in with 130 grand in income, showing, and then 150 the year before. I don't know. It's weird.
The judge is going to be pissed when he has to change every single thing on this form.
Any other income during this year or the 2 previous calendar years? Any other income? No.
Royalties, gambling, and lottery winnings. I get the feeling that's not. Well, he probably didn't win any money that way.
Alimony, child support, Social Security, unemployment, other public benefit payments, pensions, rental income, interest, dividends, money collected from lawsuits, royalties, gambling, and lottery winnings.
Well, that's this points out something interesting is that he's had that Connecticut home since 2008. He's never rented it. He's never rented that property, and it's like, why? Why don't you rent it? People have been telling him for years to rent it, but he refuses.
I wouldn't want to be a landlord, man. I wouldn't.
You pay someone, and they take care of everything for you, and they just take a chunk of it.
Yeah, till the roof collapses and kills their kid, and then you're screwed. Get an LLC for your rental properties, y'all. Debtor 1 or 2 or both have primarily consumer debts. Yes. So then he's got the mortgage. He's got the car.
Supposedly his aunt rented until she died, and he hasn't rented it out to the public.
Did you make payment on a debt you owed anyone who is an insider? Ooh, no, he says. Payments or transfer property on account of a debt that benefited an insider. So no.
Are they just asking if you've committed fraud? What are these questions?
Well, because if you made, like, let's say I owe 10 different people $1,000 or $10,000 each. And then, but one of those people is my business partner, for example. Well, let's say I pay everybody $100 out of that 10,000, but I pay my business partner $5,000. That looks suspicious, and they're going to potentially claw back that money and distribute it evenly amongst the creditors, or proportionally. Okay. I shouldn't say evenly, but proportionally. That's only because then it looks like you're just sheltering assets. That's why they ask that. Were you a party in any lawsuit, court action, or administrative proceeding? He says no. Any property repossessed, foreclosed, garnished, attached. Okay, so this is where he answers no, but people are saying that his house is being foreclosed.
Yeah, no, it's open right now. I think they opened it in December. The bank or the foreclosure.
I guess if it's still an open foreclosure, it's not technically foreclosed yet.
Yeah, maybe.
That'd be the argument I would make. 90 days before filing bankruptcy, did any creditor, including a bank or financial institution, set off any amounts from your accounts or refuse to make a payment because you owed a debt? He says no. Any of your property in the possession of an assignee for the benefit of creditors, court-appointed receiver, custodian, or other official? No. 2 years. Did you give any gifts with a total value of more than 600 per person? So give any gifts. So he didn't give any gifts more than $600. This is the same thing, like just trying to get rid of assets and shelter stuff. Like I give you my special people gold bars, and then later you gift them back to me, type thing, when the bankruptcy's over. Within 2 years before you filed bankruptcy, did you give any gifts or contributions with a total value of more than 600 to any charity? No. 1 year before, did you lose anything because of theft, fire, other disaster, or gambling? No. Anyone else acting on your behalf pay or transfer any property to anyone you consulted about seeking bankruptcy or preparing a bankruptcy petition? Yeah, so he has paid $1,200 to Sheffield Bankruptcy Law Firm.
That's his current attorney.
Yeah.
Rochelle.
Yep.
That's where I got that number, by the way. I think the 1,500 is 1,200 for all of this.
Yeah, and that's not an uncommon number for a basic bankruptcy. Although I don't know that they knew they were getting into something more than a basic bankruptcy. Anyone else acting on your behalf pay or transfer any property to anyone who promised to help you deal with your creditors or make payments? No. Sell, trade, or otherwise transfer any property to anyone other than property transferred in the ordinary course of business or financial affairs? No. Transfer any property to a self-settled trust? No. Self-settled trusts are the trusts where you're the grantor, you're the trustee, and the beneficiary, if anybody's curious about that. You can't. Self-settled trusts are legal, but they're suspicious for credit purposes. You can't just dump money into a trust that is yours and run by you for your benefit to try and get it out of creditors' hands.
The next one is funny. He claims that within the last year, Bank of America closed one of his savings accounts that had no money in it. And he lists that. That's very specific and thorough for something.
Yeah.
Considering all the other egregious errors, he somehow managed to remember that one.
So there we go. Do you now have, or did you have within 1 year before you filed bankruptcy, any safe deposit box or other depository for securities, cash, or other valuables? No. You stored property in a storage unit or place other than your home within 1 year? No. Identify property you hold or control of someone else? No. Environmental information. Has any government unit notified you that you may be liable? Violation of environmental law? No. Hazardous material? No. Any proceedings under environmental laws? No. Give details about your business or connections to any business? Doesn't. Within 4 years before you filed bankruptcy, did you own a business or have any of the following connections to any business? Sole proprietor.
He has a sole proprietorship, and he claims that he's self-employed, but then on this part, he doesn't check the box that says self-employed.
Yeah.
How do you that's just wrong. No matter how, it doesn't matter what your legal understanding is, that is plain English that he is lying about.
Yeah, that one. See, and the problem with these types of things is even if he just says, "Oh, I made a stupid mistake," he's still drawing attention to it, right? Like this is the type of stuff you should get right.
He's begging for scrutiny when he really should not want scrutiny because he's under the limits for 8 different things.
Check all that apply. Okay, so wait. Checking all that apply above and fill in the details for each business. So he says yes, but he didn't check any of these. So good job. But he does say Burnell Productions.
Yeah, that's creator. The name of the sole proprietorship.
No EIN. Oh, this is goodness.
This is more confusing than it should be.
You'd think his lawyer would have proofread this at least and said, "This is weird."
Because yeah, that's the thing, is that it doesn't matter what your understanding of DSP. You don't need any privileged access to anything in DSP's life to look at this document and go, I can look at A and B and see a contradiction.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have that.
Within 2 years, did you give financial statement to anyone about your business? Financial institutions, creditors, or other parties? This has got to be a lie. This has got to be a lie. Because I bet he's represented his self-employment income to get credit in the past 2 years.
Maybe, unless he's had these credit cards rolling for more than 2 years, which is a possibility.
It's a possibility.
He could have got. I mean, I don't think the WWE Champions thing started until last year or the year before, so he could have just like plunged himself into debt over that, into an unsustainable level of interest, and had on cards that existed before the last 2 years. So I can't say for certainty that that's wrong.
Yeah. No additional pages. So yes, here's his penalty of perjury declaration. Again, these are always overstated. These are maximum penalties. So even if they found him guilty of some sort of perjury, he's not going to deal with that type of stuff.
People are really like wanting him to go to jail and stuff, but it's like they don't throw people in jail over shit like this. They just don't, because it doesn't it costs the government money. It costs the government money to put someone in jail, and they want money, so they're gonna have him out there, and they want him to twerk on Twitch so they get their money from his pay pigs. They want to make him their pay pig.
I think they're gonna try and convert this to a Chapter 13. I mean, almost guaranteed.
Well,
the creditors are going to ask questions about it.
The resident lawyer on the forum, he says that if it's so bad that it looks like Phil is disrespecting the court, they'll just say you can't file for bankruptcy. This is like a spit in our face, and then let the creditors tear them apart. Basically, they can sanction you in that way if they think it's too egregious, but they'll probably give them a chance to correct it. But the creditors are likely going to object to what he's filed here and say, nope, we want Chapter 13. He's got to pay us. Yeah. So, statement of intention. Like the worst. That'd be the worst thing possible for him, because then he's stuck with it. Yeah. So here's where he says what he wants to do. So his mortgage, he wants to retain the property and enter into I accidentally, whatchamacallit? It's a reaffirmation agreement. Accidentally, when I did the redaction, it caught this piece too, but it's a reaffirmation agreement. So I affirm I'm going to keep paying you. That's what he wants. The Midland mortgage, this is the one on the Connecticut place. He wants to surrender the property, which he's... Oh, and someone pointed out, I forgot about this, is that in his stream where after this got out, he had to address it. He actually called in sick when it just got filed. So he comes back the day after, I think on the Monday following, and he basically says that all these fucking nerds on websites out there are analyzing every line of this legal filing because they have no lives, right? He goes on this rant, and then he says that he didn't fill it out, his lawyer did. So he blames every issue, every mistake in this document on his lawyer. Rude. Very rude. This is someone who allegedly practices bankruptcy law and is engaging in like very basic errors of no sole proprietorship or self-employment, but sole proprietorship and self-employment. Yeah, I mean, if he goes into court, this is another question that someone had that I just remembered. If he goes to court and he blames his errors on the conduct of his attorney, does the attorney then have recourse against him? Only if the judge is trying to assign sanctions to the attorney. That would be a really stupid thing to do in court. You could say stuff like that on Twitch all day, but throwing your attorney under the bus in court. And your attorney can throw themselves under the bus. That's a different story. It would be a mess. It'd be a mess. Toyota. He wants to retain the Toyota. Describe your unexpired personal property leases.
and then sign below. He signed. So now he's got the $245 filing fee, $75 administrative fee, and $15 trust surcharge, $335 that he has to pay. 1167 filing fee, and then $550 administrative fee. Got to pay $1,717, and he's requested to pay that over time, and that's been granted.
He can't pay a $350 filing fee for his own bankruptcy, so they have to give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't make sense. But if he doesn't, here's the thing. With these things, I don't believe his actual bankruptcy protection fully kicks in until he has paid the entire fee.
Okay.
So,
well, you better get on that, because the people in Connecticut ain't waiting for him.
Yeah, it's a mess. Repayment plan for individuals with regular income. Okay, so these are the file your forms on time. Credit counseling. I think the rest is just informational stuff. Here we go. Disclosure of compensation of attorney for debtors. I certify that I'm an attorney. I've agreed to accept $1,200. Prior to the filing of this statement, I've received the $1,200. The source
can pay that. Fine.
Yeah. Source of the compensation was the debtor. I have not agreed to share the above disclosed compensation with any other person unless they are members or an associates of my law firm. So she's not splitting that $1,200, that sweet $1,200 with anyone else. I've agreed to render legal services for all aspects of the bankruptcy case, including, here's all this stuff. What are the other provisions? Negotiations with secured creditors to reduce the market value, reduce to market value, exemption planning, preparation and filing of reaffirmation agreements and applications as needed, preparation and filing of motions pursuant to 11 U.S.C. 522 F2A for avoidance of liens on household goods, and then representation of the debtors. This does not include the following services: representation of the debtors in any dischargeability actions, judicial lien avoidances, relief from stay actions, or any other adversary proceeding. So if the creditors really come after him for the filing,
he's screwed. That's not covered.
Yeah, she's not going to represent him.
Oh my God! They're guaranteed to come after him. There's no way. At least one of the, because okay, if it was just like one or two big debtors, maybe it would get overlooked and say, yeah, he's insolvent, whatever. But there's no way not one of the 14 different banks or institutions or whatever are going to look at these and say, there's no way we can't milk this for more. There's no way we can't get that house.
Yeah, I mean, they should be looking at it, and they should look at the errors on the forms, and those errors should make them very suspicious, right? Even if you don't think, even if you, how do I word this? Just seeing a bunch of little nitpicky errors when he has an attorney should make them go, why are there errors on this stuff? That there shouldn't be any errors here. This isn't that complicated.
This was professionally filed. It should be. Oh. It should be, nuts and bolts should be all secured.
Yeah.
But okay, so one more community question that someone just asked that I'm curious about too is, will there be recordings of these hearings that we could acquire?
Recordings, probably not.
Transcripts.
Audio recordings would be unlikely, but transcripts might be possible.
Can we ask the courthouse to especially, this is of public interest, sir. This is the founder of Let's Plays. We need
someone could go to the hearing and request permission to record.
I will mail you a 4K camera and set up your YouTube account so that you can live stream this bankruptcy hearing, because we're all very curious.
No, it's you'd have to get the court's permission to record the court hearing, unless you went in with an incognito mic and recorded just the audio,
like a trench coat and fedora.
Yeah, well, usually they make you take off any overcoats that you're wearing, so you'd have to wear a suit coat and be really
They're hiding the content from us. We need to get.
It's possible that a transcript would be recorded, and those transcripts a lot of times can just be purchased by whoever wants them. They're a matter of public record. So, but
all right, we'll have to inquire with the clerk of courts. We desperately need this recorded in some way. We will each pay you.
I know there's 1 million people who are going to be watching Pacer on this. Or no, this is filed in state court, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wonder how hard it's. Well, no, there's a Pacer Monitor had it, so I guess you file it in federal bankruptcy court, but you just use the laws of Washington State. So people are going to be following this on Pacer or whatever. When there is a transcript available, there's an entry that comes up, and it gives you a phone number on where you can call and order the transcript. So if people are desperately seeking it, that's you can watch for that on Pacer.
Someone, as soon as I mentioned this, someone has DM'd me on Twitter to inform me that there's already a volunteer who will be at the court to live tweet it as it proceeds.
Good luck holding on to your phone.
Well, that's the attempt. We need to contact the court and get them to do it, and just email them like, look, do us a solid. You don't understand. Look at this video of this man trying to cook ramen noodle soup. You have to record this bankruptcy hearing.
Yeah. He's likely going to screw up in the courtroom in a way that you cannot predict, Judge, and you want to have this on film for yourself, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. That's a very lawyerly way of putting that. It's not for us, it's for you, sir.
Oh my God, what a disaster. What a disaster the internet has made the sacred courthouse.
It's a circus. It's a clown car now.
You know what's actually could be really interesting about this is there could be people opting out of the public trial, the right to a public trial, because of the internet, not realizing like how bad it is to not have public trials.
Yeah, to have a what's that called, a bench trial when it's just the judge.
Well, no, I mean even bench trials are public trials, but just having like them in closed doors or behind closed doors that's one of the things that we literally fought against England about, was the secret courts.
Well, that's what when I argue with the Anglos, because I get into arguments with Anglos quite frequently, and they say it's so easy to dox people in the U.S. We have so much better privacy. It's like, well, when someone like Tommy Robinson gets arrested in the U.K., there's no public record of it. There's no public mugshot. There's no public arrest record. There's no information. He was in jail for like 48 hours before he was allowed a phone call, and people knew what happened to him. It's like there's no, it's like a trade-off. Yes, you have less privacy overall, but you have more transparency with the government. People can audit your arrests and see if you've been abducted by the government, Yeah,
the question is your shame worth more than your life?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. And the Anglo, the wretched Anglo, such as it is, will always attest that it's better to trust the government than to trust the public.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I do not. I hate the FISA court. I hate everything about closed courts. If there's a closed court, the public doesn't get to verify that you actually got a fair process, because you just have to go by the government saying, "Oh yeah, we totally treated him fairly." That's perfect. If you have any problem with how any court case has been conducted and someone's gotten railroaded, then you should be for an open court, because at least you get to find out that someone got railroaded. But
there we are. I mean, I guess that's it. I have a big post. I think I've scanned through it. I think I got everything.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what comes up. I really will. It'll be funny if there's actual like opposition from the creditors who are like, wait a minute, we got some problems with this form. Where are all these business expenses? Prove them up. This is just really convenient. So,
no, it is. Everything is listed in such a way that if this was just rubber stamped through, he would make it like a king. He keeps his house, he keeps his car, all his debt's gone. I guess he gets to keep his fucking WWE champions account, because he's gonna audit that.
Yes,
he can be number 4 worldwide on WWE.
You want his account. You want it.
If I got his account, I would obviously live stream it and make that money back.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, I got a bunch of chats if you want to hang out for a few.
Yeah, let me go to the bathroom because I literally just woke up just in time for this.
I'm gonna start going through them, and if there's one for you specifically, I'll wait for you.
Okay. All right. Get back.
Viden the Cold One says, "Hey, Nicky boy, can't wait for the show." Oh, me either. The Agrilith says, "Not sure how interested you'd be, but if you could go over the Punisher trial in Daredevil season 2, I'd like to hear your view on a slow day or a 10-minute upload if you haven't seen it." I have seen it, but I don't really remember much about it. I'll have to rewatch that scene. Jay says, "The bottom line is," Steph Dev says, "Late and slightly Toye might need some remotes." Alex Jones Groiper says, "Wow, dude, look at those Morans. Snort." Memeology 101 says, "I created PewDiePie, dude." Oh, God. The DSP memes. I like them. Coolman229 says, "Nick, if you want a video that really goes over DSP, check out Down the Rabbit Hole video on him by Frederick Knudsen." I saw that video suggested to me today, so maybe I will. Angela Honkler says, "Free Tevin." Eduardo Ramirez says, "What is GLO gang?" Also, rip Almighty Tevin. Razor says, "I miss Sons of Kojima." Kodiak says, "Deus Vault." Brandon says, "Feed us, please, Jersh." Oh, I'll read that one when he gets back. Mike Bob says, "Please send this cash to Null." On one of his YouTube videos, he was talking about his EU-UK visa. I commented that it was boring. Null replied, "Sorry, friend," and I felt bad. "Have some shekels." No. Oh, that's the saddest story today. Bo Stoker says, "Did you hear the good news? If not, good news, everybody. Sargon won his case against Aquila. Another good win for fair use." And actually, I did want to talk to Josh about that when he gets back. DCV Titan says, just felt like mentioning caught a Hippodon in Pokemon Sword yesterday and felt obligated to name it Renfamous. Attaboy. The Howling Warwolf says, "Question for Null." Okay, we'll save that one. DCV Titan says, "Oh, are you back?" No, I just heard myself. DCV Titan says, "Lol, Funimation having standards, that's good." Joey Jojo says, "Funimation subbed the Senran Kagura anime series, which is a good anime and game series. Guess Funimation is going the Sony anime titties bad route." Very possible. Apache Chief says, "A DSP expert, as in more than one? I'm sorry for the delay on this, but I'm baffled by the idea of a team of scientists studying him outside of how to utilize his gout as a cure for Corona-chan." DJ Filthy Rich 512 says, ayúdame por favor, es muy importante, stay black, fam." So there you go. Howling Warwolf says, "Another question for Null." Okay, we gotta wait on that one. How long is this man gonna pee?
Hi.
Oh, you're back.
Hi. Yes.
So I was gonna mention Sargon won his fair use case against Aquila. Did you see that?
He did, which is fantastic because that is another case that I could potentially cite in future unavoidable litigation.
Did you read his opinion? Or the opinion?
The only thing I read in the opinion was the very end where the judge basically says, "Don't even try appealing this because it's a waste of fucking time."
It had some really interesting points in it for fair use that I think might really kind of change the game on how fair use is considered on a platform like YouTube, for example.
How high up did it go?
Just to district court level. It didn't.
Okay.
It didn't get appealed any higher than that.
Well, I mean, there's a absence of case law, despite how much people complain about copyright and stuff. There really hasn't been that many cases that have gone to trial to set a precedent for copyright on YouTube.
Well, because it's really expensive, and YouTube, you're usually not losing that much money.
Yeah, it's like you ever see that meme where the dogs are barking at each other through a gate, and the gate just starts opening, and when it's finally open, they all just walk away. That's basically YouTube copyright. Like once YouTube goes hands off and says, "Okay, start suing each other," everyone's just like, "Yeah, we're just gonna go elsewhere."
The interesting thing is that I was thinking about was Sargon's case. Do you remember that MXR plays shenanigans that went down the other day, where those two lovable Asians who do like adult Skyrim mods were extorted by Jukin Media. Like a bunch of people covered it for one day. Did you see that?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so MXR Mods is it's these two Asians who do reaction videos. And they're like bare bones reaction content where they barely do anything. It's not like they're adding a bunch of commentary typically. And Jukin Media is this content farm which licenses out. So they acquire all of these like meme, very shareable viral videos. They acquire them right away. They promote them to make them go more viral. So it turns out that viral video crazes are literally actually just astroturfed content. And then they allow people to license those videos. So if you want to use that, like if you've seen the guy who's got like a big bunch of weights over his head, but he's in the splits on two chairs or whatever.
Maybe in passing. The one that comes to mind for astroturfing is that fucking pufferfish. That's like animal. They kill that pufferfish. That pufferfish is dead. It's gasping for air. You know, it's not having a good time eating that carrot. That is astroturf meme. Fuck that pufferfish. And fuck people that post that shit.
Yeah. So anyway, so they go to like Reddit subreddits and they just take whatever content's on the subreddit and react to it, which means they're going to be grabbing a lot of these viral videos that people are poaching off of YouTube and stuff like that. The thing that I found interesting in the Sargon versus Aquila stuff, in the transformative use, they go in and they say flat out, Sargon didn't do anything. Like he 100% uses their content and there's no commentary at all other than the editing that he used and the title itself. Oh, and the nature of his channel adds some level of commentary to it. Because, like, you know, when you're going to watch a Sargon video, that you're getting an anti-SJW, anti-feminist perspective.
To put this in the perspective, because I completely forgot what the video was. I thought it was him doing a running commentary as he usually does. No, I remember now. This video was just him editing her video to make her contradictions apparent.
Yeah, he took a total of a minute and 58 seconds of video time of hers. It's in 3 main clips, and he plays them, and they just play, and that's it. There's no commentary or anything.
And the judge was so... I did read some of the opinion where he is very adamant that he got it right, and that this is classic fair use, which is fantastic. If this is what I think it is, this is probably the most valuable contribution to society that Sargon will ever produce ever in his entire life, and he can retire now. He did it. He actually contributed to society. Everyone should give him a round of applause, and he should go away.
The interesting thing to me is, in the context of MXR Plays, a lot of the YouTube lawyers like Viva Frey and Legal Eagle commented, and Leonard French basically said that what MXR Plays was doing was almost definitely not fair use. Because
that changes.
Because their reaction video wasn't significantly transformative. But if you make the argument that, no, you know what you're going to get when you go to these channels, and the title of the video itself is some sort of commentary and criticism sufficient to change what you're watching. So it's like, I'm not watching that viral video. I'm watching these content creators and the title that they put on there in the channel. If that's sufficient, I mean, that's crazy. And, you know, the monetary issue, of course, Sargon monetized the video, and that didn't matter.
The most significant thing with copyright seems to me is the market. What is this a market towards? Because we use a lot of just straight rips of everything on the forum. We download entire videos and images, and people file all the DMCAs in the world every day. We got another one from someone in France just recently about some Roadrunner fan fiction they had commissioned and stuff. It's a constant DMCA, but it's like the images on the forum are for a completely different market than the
Right.
people that you commission that image for. That's the most important aspect. And who on Sargon's channel is watching this woman for her ideas? No one. The only people watching that video are people who would never watch her videos.
Right.
So that to me should be the first immediate check. Is this for the same exact audience as the original content? If the answer is no, throw it out.
Well, but see, the problem with that is that actually is a consideration, and that would likely weigh in favor of Aquila, because by Sargon exposing her content to a completely new audience, it forecloses her from being able to reach that audience.
But nobody in that audience would.
I know, but whether or not you intend on exploiting that audience or even have the ability to, doesn't mean that you don't have the right to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just because a Coke drinker is never going to buy a Pepsi doesn't mean that Coke can take Pepsi's product and expose it to Coke drinkers and just call it Coke 2 or something.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So that's a weird thing. I mean, the primary concern tends to be the transformative use. I mean, if they find that the use is sufficiently transformative, then all the other aspects get immediately decreased in value. But it's weird though, because what you're saying is playing into, in this case, what the transformative use is. Like, he's literally saying that because it's on Sargon's channel and not Aquila's, and because his audience is so different, that in and of itself makes it transformative.
It's transformative, huh?
It's wild.
Yeah, that's really strong. That's a great card to have.
And it really should be, because as much as I hate reaction streamers, like, people aren't watching the reaction streamer for the meme video. Or, I mean, they kind of are, but they're really watching the reaction streamer. Like, they care about what stupid faces and voices the reaction streamer makes. And they may not care about if they make any sort of commentary about it. It's literally, I want to see, Ginny is the chick's name. I want to see Ginny make stupid cutesy eyes or whatever at the kitten video. Like, that's what they want to see.
Yeah. Here's an interesting parallel, which is a little bit more ambiguous, because there's a guy called Michael B. Petty. I'm aware of him. His primary content is he watches the fat chicks, Chantal and Amberlynn, and he does reactions to them. And he's kind of like an effeminate, flamboyant type, and he has very over the top reactions to everything. But I think a lot of the people who watch Michael B. Petty want videos from these two creators, but they do not want to contribute to their success in any way. So,
sure.
So it is almost like a pirate radio of the other channels that is driven by spite, and maybe not necessarily because of Michael B. Petty's personality. So I'm curious if you think that is less transformative because it is like a spite-driven thing.
But is he adding something to it?
He's chopping it up and talking about it and stuff.
Yeah, see, that weighs in favor of it being transformative enough anyway, even if it's motivated by spite. Like, that's actually motivating it by spite and being critical about the content of the video itself is presumptively transformative.
Okay, that's the answer I would want to hear.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about that transformative use, is that its critique of the video itself makes it transformative. So if you say, these people are stupid, their points are bad, and they should feel bad, that weighs in favor of being transformative.
Well, since we're talking about DSP and a lot of DSP detractors are in chat, how do you think that would play to Tevin doing live reaction commentary to DSP streams as they're happening? So directly fighting for his market of his live streams.
If he's reacting, I mean, if he's adding sufficient commentary and making fun of, even ridicule is part of criticism. So yeah, I mean, and ridicule can be very creative, right? Like somebody I know tends to be creative with insults. So yeah, that's interesting stuff. And YouTube is going to have to start solving this problem with fair use analysis. They need to push back on this stuff. But and they really need to push back on the we'll save up and then do a 3 strikes on your channel from something that was posted 10 years ago type thing. There's this anime YouTuber who he does reaction content, and his channel got struck 3 times in a row on videos that were all over 3 years old the other day. So his channel's gone. just gone though. Because
by the way,
content.
There's someone in chat I want to shout out. There is Ludwig World Order. Ludwig World Order made the best "This is how you don't play" video about DSP for Bloodborne: The Old Hunters. It is a masterpiece, and if you just search "This is how you don't play Bloodborne: The Old Hunters" DLC, Ludwig World Order, I think that's the video that's just perfect. It's like 45 minutes long, but it's one of the funniest.
I'll have to watch that one. So shout out, big ups to Ludwig. So Brandon says, "Feed us, please, Jersh. It's been so long and we're all so hungry." Also, BB has Corona confirmed. It's BB? Are they talking about Benjamin Netanyahu? That'd be interesting.
BB is also confirmed. That's what they said.
No, also BB has Corona confirmed.
Oh, I think they're talking about Netanyahu because it's there was a case in Israel, but I think that case was a false positive. He doesn't actually have coronavirus in Israel.
Okay.
Israel's still safe.
Was that just to detract from? He got hit with some massive
he was indicted on fraud or something. Yeah. He's in trouble.
Is he still prime minister? I thought he stepped down or something.
I don't know.
I don't know how that goes. I don't follow enough Jewish politics.
He might have to be convicted before he's removed from office, like Trump.
Howling Warwolf says, question for Null. If you were to compare Evil AJ 2000 to one of Chris Chan's trolls, which one would it be?
I don't know who Evil AJ 2000 is, and I haven't kept up with Chris. After Chris, that's a sad story. Like after we sorted out Chris, he decided that he wanted to play pretend more than he wanted to have like a stable existence. Yeah. So now he's got like this weird cult, and they're like blackmailing each other and shit. With it's just a mess, and they keep contacting me like, oh, you need to go after these people. It's like, no, I'm not touching any of this shit. So I'm out of touch with both of those. I'm sorry.
They're saying Chantel's boyfriend, BB.
Oh, okay. That's different. I don't know. I don't think there's that many cases in Africa. BB ain't got shit.
Howling Warwolf says, another question for Null. Did anyone from the farms ever find out what happened to Liana after she left Phil?
Oh, Evil AJ 2000 was the first. Sorry, just to go back. The first person to make a "This is how you don't play." That would probably be the store, the guy, what was his name, the guy who owned the game place and who was just trying to, because the guy that owned the game places was circumstantial. Snyder was the guy, so AJ is probably closer to Snyder because AJ probably just wanted to make a fun video and that was it, and then it sparked this whole thing for no reason. But yeah, sorry.
What about what happened to Leanna after she left Phil? The farms have any info on that?
She sells soap on Etsy. I think that's all we know about her.
Of course she does. Okay. It's Old Tide says DSP is an acronym for Dicky Super Prick. So there you go. 113657 says, would you say it's Erver for DSP?
It's Erver. It's always Erver.
That's an interesting spelling. I like it. Cookie Chief says, get Memology 101 on. He's got the facts. Well, tonight's just me and Null. It's a little intimate here. Matthew Neidig says, Nick and Null on the same stream makes the graveyard shift a good time. You two are the only people I habitually follow these days. See you Friday, Null.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you moved from Wednesday to Friday, right?
I did. I moved to Friday because it was easier for me on my
I'm glad.
schedule.
Because my live chats for my Patreon subscribers were right during your stream, and I always felt like a dick. But that was the only time of the week that I had carved out for it.
Yeah, no, I switched to Friday, and the first Friday I did was more successful than my Wednesdays usually are. So I'm like, oh, okay, this works out better for everyone.
Well, good. Did you get demonetized? Again?
I did. I got demonetized for reused content. A whole channel.
Everybody did.
A whole channel of me talking about shit, reused content somehow. Great job.
Yeah, that's what Medicare got hit with. That's what Hirohei got hit with. He fought back against it, and I think he got his stuff reinstated pretty quickly.
Medicare filed for monetization again and got approved. I don't know about the other guy, but
yeah, Hirohei, I think he appealed it successfully.
You can't appeal it.
Well, I mean, he got I think the community of weebs rallied around and tagged YouTube a whole bunch.
That's different because I know there's zero. You can't contact them if you go to the FAQ. Say I've been demonetized for this. What do I do? They say wait 30 days. There is no form. There's nothing. There's not even a pretend email you can complain to. There is all. You get 30 days and then you have to start all over again. And the great thing is they make sure that your AdSense payout is halted so you don't get money for that. And as a bonus, here's my favorite thing. When you are monetized and there's a copyright claim on one of your videos, you can contest that copyright claim, and then usually they wear down the 28-day timer. But during that time, you can choose not to have it monetized, as opposed to having it monetized and having it go to escrow. If you don't want the video monetized at all during the dispute, you can just turn off monetization. Right. Well, if you get demonetized, you can't demonetize the videos. It's forced on. So there is a video of Ramilia, a transgender League of Legends streamer, and I have a clip from their last stream before their death where they explain the hardships of their life. And I thought I just want to clip this so that people searching for Ramilia can see what they were going through before they died. And if you go find that video right now, you will get a League of Legends advertisement on it. And I even contacted media at LeagueOfLegends.com, said, you motherfuckers doing business with YouTube got to cut that shit out because this is what your ads get played on. Fuck YouTube. I honestly, fuck YouTube. It's so awful.
I, for one, love YouTube as my Lord and Master. How dare you? I fully support the great state of YouTube. Someone, who was that? The Jackal Slayer is asking if we saw his top 10 worst moments of DSP. I haven't. I've barely seen anything about DSP, but I don't know if you've seen the Jackal Slayer.
No, I haven't. The last one I watched was the Ludwig one, and I probably watched that 2 or 3 times because my favorite bit is there's a perfectly edited part where there are 3 bosses at once, and he edits Wings of Redemption, this other fat guy I forgot the name of, someone's going to remind me, and then DSP.
Boogie?
No, it's some guy that's obscure. He's more obscure than DSP and Wings, but it's just phenomenal. Sorry, I'm thinking about that video again.
Let's see. Adbrag says, did you have a chance to look into the Louis Rossmann contractor situation yet? No, I have not. I've seen a couple Louis Rossmann videos where he's doing testimony about right to repair and making fun of the lawyers who come in and try and testify against it. But I haven't looked into his contractor situation yet. KTTK says DSP celebrates his birthday for an entire week. Matt Schrodinger says Null knows nothing. It was Street Fighter. Damn.
Yeah, I got nitpicked throughout the entire show. And it was like, I had my notes, I had everything ready, and I still fucked it up.
What you got to do is just be ignorant. That's what I do. Some nobody says, just to clarify, anything legal can be a business. Talbot Link says, I'm wondering if tissues are in a revised expense calculation. He has used them in stream off screen. At least that's what he claimed to wipe it with. This is the infamous the Coomer video, right? DSP invented cooming even.
He did. He invented masturbating in front of children on YouTube. He's a pioneer of let's play and let's jerk off.
Let's coom. It should be a let's coom.
Yeah, that's great.
We're gonna do a let's coom, boys.
He gets real salty over that, by the way. Like, he played it off as a joke when it was happening because it was the most attention he'd received in 10 years. But then people started twisting it as he jerked off in front of children, and now he doesn't like it anymore.
Aww. God, that's just great. Some nobody says owned a BMW, never owned name brand pants, gay boy. Oh, damn. Some nobody says you can pay people to stable your horse, like Monica. Woo. Nick's Gay Shorts says, no bully, I was moderately priced, okay. Everybody makes fun of my shorts. Do you wear shorts ever?
No.
Why?
You actually wear shorts?
I wear shorts all the time. I'm
I saw the
allergic to
picture of
heat.
you at court. I saw the picture of you, and my legs don't get hot, so I can wear long pants. My feet get hot, like when I'm sleeping. I have to keep them out of the cover because they get hot.
One of my law school buddies, when he would get drunk, his feet would heat up, and he'd always take his shoes off so you'd know when he was toasted because he'd take his shoes off in class.
Oh, I do that. I'm bad. I take my shoes off in planes and stuff. I get comfy. I don't like having shoes on.
I can't believe that nobody wears shorts. This is so weird to me.
Because I don't know, male legs are not sexy. I guess you want to keep those covered up.
Maybe yours aren't. I'm gonna start wearing shorter shorts so you can see even
like
higher and higher tan lines.
If I stretch my foot out, the angle from like down to my calves to my heel, it's like a 90-degree angle. It's like a Fred Flintstone type foot. So I gotta wear pants and keep that covered up so nobody can see my shame.
Oh man, one day I'll introduce you to shorts. Some nobody says trying to cover casino chips with unliquidated claims. Ferd Reich says rip. Oh damn it, where'd it go? Rip Ethan Rolf of the Rolf Report .biz. May the memories we shared with the gun to live on forever in our hearts. What happened to Ethan Rolf?
Ethan Ralph, he was on TV. I saw him in front of cameras. I don't think anything happened to him though.
Well, this is Ralph with an E. I don't know if that's different.
Oh, Ralph. Yeah, rest in peace, Ralph.
Some nobody says nope. You need one for building credit and rewards. Oh, credit cards. Yeah. You should. If you need to build credit, a credit card is the way to do it. A low credit card carry a small balance month to month. Some nobody says bills auto pay, credit card auto pay, checking. Okay. B Bob JS says Null, stop with the bad CC advice. Never pay interest on a credit card ever. I have 14 credit cards. I only make 20K and have zero debt. It's about churning sign-up offers. Yeah,
if you're not trying to build credit, don't use a credit card at all or pay it off immediately. The thing is, you can't. If you pay it off immediately, you're considered a deadbeat by the credit card industry. Because they don't make any money that way. If you're trying to build credit, if you have no credit, if you're 17 years old and you want to get credit, get a card from your credit union that has a $500 balance and just buy an Xbox and pay it off over a little bit of time, and that'll build you credit. But otherwise, don't ever use credit cards.
Yeah, actually, paying off your card every month is worse for your credit. They don't like that. They want to know someone can carry a balance and pay it if they're going to try and sell them a house. It's why it works that way. Stars Raven retracted message, so I thank you, but I don't know what it says. Moist John says Phil should sue his moron lawyer instead. I mean, that'd be rough. Matt Schrodinger says it's gross. It's for this chosen people hands. Incarn says, would it be possible for an interested party to purchase one of Phil's outstanding debts and become a creditor and then apply scrutiny? At this point, I don't know if you could. I mean, you could always try, I suppose, but that could be a real waste of money.
Yeah, that'd be like thousands of dollars just to fuck with them.
Yeah. Rogue says, bites carrot. Ugh. Okay. Cesario JPN says, I've seen some weird fan fiction and Rule 34 fan art of things, but Roadrunner fan fiction just makes me wonder how far we can go low. Turns to Japan. Internet Tab says, objection, DSP is not the father of Let's Plays. That is Shinya Areno of Game Center CX infamy. The Cacho is king in this area and no one will ever dethrone him, not even lung cysts. Established 2003.
Well, Shinya Areno does not sound like an American name. I'm going to go out on a limb here. This might be un-PC of me.
That's a good Mississippi name right there. Deep Southern heritage.
He might be the Japanese for Let's Player, pioneer of Let's Player, but Darkside Phil, the OG, is the one who brought it to America, my friend.
Darkside Phil. That's the Japanese version. Okay, so where we go? Hellgate Wrestling says, thoughts on Suzy Liu uploading episodes of Naruto? I full episodes of a show are hard to justify as fair use, typically, but I don't know. Asia Frazier says, so Lemon should make reaction videos of your streams. It's fair use and he'll make more money than what Moranica is giving him. Well, probably.
You probably could, yeah. Go for
it. David Davidson says, this is how you don't file for bankruptcy. That was going to be the title of my short video that I do on his bankruptcy.
I got a better one. I stole this from chat too. This is how you don't pay.
Yes. This is how you don't pay your bills. This is how you don't get good credit. This is how you don't build your credit score. Keldeo the Horse says, shout out Almighty Tevin, big ups, Egg Gang, AEG. And then Keldeo the Horse says, big ups, Lightside Bill and Rocky the Doggo. Howling Warwolf says, one more for Null. Which did you find more cringe, Cooming or Julie?
Cringe? I don't know. Everything Chris does is kind of cringy. The Coomer one is more... That's not cringe, though. That's just funny. So I'd say the first one.
You think a man cooming is funny?
Yes.
What, it's a joke? The reproduction's a joke to you?
It's not reproduction. It's a failure to reproduce.
I mean, for now.
I don't
you don't know what happened to it off camera. Maybe he saved it. Maybe
he was alone at that time. I'm pretty sure I know what happened to it.
Look, there's kidnap. You don't know what happened.
No, and okay, never mind. I'm not gonna discuss the bodily functions of Dark Side Phil. That's against my own forum rules. I'm pretty sure.
Probably you'll be thread banned. DLC 3 required says, how do you get rid of bacon grease? Phil taught me to flush it down the toilet. That's good advice there too. Definitely.
Have you seen that?
No, I heard about it though.
Yeah. Just straight down the toilet. And he's even positing this as a life hack. It's like, you don't know what to do with your bacon grease. So here's what I do. I just walk to my toilet and dump it in, flush it away.
Why don't he just pour it on himself? That'd be good. You could try that. Samurai Zenji says, it's greed. Greed is massively strong. And Rural says, you should get yourself a pair of Ranger panties.
That's a Phil quote, by the way. The greed thing.
Oh, okay. It's not as iconic as Gordon Gekko.
No. The only reason why I know it is because Liquid Richard remixed it into one of his songs.
Big ups to Liquid Richard and Sean Ranklin. Twitter Taint Tickler says, tell Null the story of how you became a feeder at Bubba Fest with drunk Yellow Flash. Also, hail our feeder leader.
I've not heard that story.
So I'm at Bubba Fest with Yellow Flash.
What's Bubba Fest?
Bubba Fest was a Southern culture celebration in Knoxville, Tennessee last year. Had such guests as Vic Mignogna. Also Dog the Bounty Hunter, the Moonshiners, Chuck Norris.
Is that the
was
one
there.
that you got a picture of you in shorts taken at?
Yeah, me and Chuck Norris were in that one. But the one in shorts is probably Anime Matsuri that you're thinking of. Although I think I was in shorts at Bubba Fest too, because I'm in shorts generally everywhere. Anyway, so it's a Southern hospitality or Southern culture convention, and so I'm there. Yellow Flash is there, and we go out drinking. We'd already been drinking quite a bit, and then my wife decided to turn in for the evening. And we were with that umbrella guy who also turned in for the evening. So Flash and I are like, well, where are we going to go? Because the bar's closed. But we found out there was a bar that was open till 3 a.m. about a half mile away. So we walked over to that bar, and I was hungry, and they served pizza. So I bought this pizza, and then Flash and I are just sitting there, and he's ordering a bunch of drinks, and I'm getting just absolutely trashed. And this big fat lady next to me starts talking to us. And Flash is like, what, you don't know who we are? We're really important YouTubers or whatever. And she wasn't getting the joke. And she started getting mad at him and yelling at him. And I was like, well, I know how to fix this. And so I offered her pizza to stop fighting with Flash. And she took 2 slices because she's a fatso. I was like, I offered you 1 slice of pizza, but this This big lady took 2.
So the joke is that she took 2 slices of pizza. That's the build up.
It wasn't the buildup. Like I controlled the situation by feeding a fat woman.
Okay. Well, that's like throwing a dog treat to get the dog to go away.
Yeah. Well, it worked. I knew it would work, and it did. That was great. So it wasn't a joke. It was just a story of what actually happened.
That's your lawyerly tactics. Getting the best of you.
Feed the fat. Don't feed the skinny. It doesn't work on them. You gotta know you gotta give them meth or whatever. Snoutfoot says, fun facts. Null stands for freedom of speech, but hides in bitch ass France. Baiting and jelly. He's Europe and I'm not. He's in Europe and I'm not. They're saying they're just jealous of you. Who won the last presidential election in the reptilian mecca known as Beverly Hills, Communist Republics of California? I don't know what that even means. I think Hillary probably carried Beverly Hills, right?
I have no idea.
Maybe Epstein did. DSP's Toilet Bacon says, hey, Nick, glad to see you stick to certain themes in your streams. Watching you fail 20 times against Gwyn the other night was certainly DSP-esque. Look, I can only aspire to be what DSP is. Snoutfoot says, the orange-skinned blonde 10 Slayer Donald Trumps won the Hills of Beverly last American presidential show with over 69%. I thinks it was in the high 70s. Obama should give his Nobel Peace Prize to Snowden's nerd ass, and you and Null should get Nobel free. I agree. I think Snowden deserves a Peace Prize. I really do.
Snowden? Yeah, probably. Him and Assange. They're going to kill Assange, though. That's going to be his Peace Prize. Peace from the suffering of being in Anglo torture prison.
Here's the final piece. The final piece of rest for you. We'll administer it via bullet. Emology 101 says, I created PewDiePie, dude. Snoutfoot says, level 83 jewelry, fucking autocorrect, smoke weed every day. Corona-chan says, yeet booty judge. Yeet booty judge. Did he get kicked? Is he gone yet? Booty gig?
Because
I saw that he was the problem with the pollsters. Just the font was too damn high, and he was thrown off the bottom. He wasn't visible. Did you see that?
No. All I know about Buttigieg is that the Iowa caucus joke, where they were like, "Oh, who's going to win? Is it going to be Bernie or Hillary or whatever?" And then out of nowhere, they say, "Oh, it's Buttigieg." Okay. No, it's not. Nobody knows who the fuck he is except for now because you brought him up and said that he won this caucus event.
He got the most delegates in Iowa. That was the discrepancy, was that I believe that his name wasn't on the screen when they were calling people. So Pete's claiming he won. Oh, okay,
at first they released like 62% of the vote and said currently Buttigieg isn't the head of Iowa, and everyone was just like, you're full of shit because nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Yeah, he's a mayor of some town. I don't even remember which one. Alexandro says, what is Null Gang? Well, it's NULL Gang. It's short for Null Gang. It's short, an abbreviation. You can say either one, though. It don't matter. I won't get offended. The farms won't get offended. We got everybody out here doing lol cow shit.
That has to be like a rap lyric or something.
Probably.
I'm not gangster enough to know rap.
I am, but I don't. Snoutfoot says, does the fact that Phil's crib allegedly is OP in the hidden random swatting real estate stat bring down his Connecticut condo and current gated fortress with personal 1%er private army? Are they saying that because he's a swatting target that it reduces the value?
The house is worth less. I don't know. It'd be an interesting argument. See if that holds weight. This house is worth less than the estimated market value because I live here. Let's see how it goes.
I coomed here on stream, and everybody will know it when they come to your house. They will have seen the coom couch.
Yeah, I recognize that wall.
Real Tevin says, what is Glow Gang? Well, it's Glow Gang. It's GLOGANG. It is Glory Boys. We are Glory Boys Entertainment. It is GBE, but it's shortened. You know what I'm saying? So it's GLO Gang. and the Glory, and so the Glory Boys. You guys can say either one though. So that was a Tevin meme. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Flandre Scarlet says, I can't be the only one that thinks the blatant inaccuracies in the filing is step one of Phil's master plan to manipulate his detractors into doing most of his bankruptcy work for him. In an amendment, of course.
That's fair.
That'd be 4D chess.
Yeah, that would be a genuine win.
Karite Sumatai says, I came here to woo at you. Question for Null. Would you rather look Tess Holiday in the eye as you feed her, or do a full karaoke version of Telephone a Woo, also a woo?
Probably the one that involves singing and not interacting with crazy fat people.
Would you rather look Tess Holiday in the vagina as you feed her, or do the full karaoke version of Telephone a Woo?
That's even worse. I want as little contact with people on the internet as possible.
You didn't have to touch it.
Well, eye contact is contact.
But it's not eye contact. You're not making eye contact with
okay,
her.
You know what? My eyes are contacting things. That's what matters.
I don't think it works that way. Your eyes are maybe. That's the Eichenwald theory, right? That's the theory in that criminal case against the guy who aggressively memed Kurt Eichenwald, is that the photons from the thing battered Kurt Eichenwald's eyes.
Precisely. That's why my choice makes sense.
Eichenwald needs to have his eyes battered in Minecraft. Dave Youngson says, since DSP claimed he has no copyrights or trademarks, that means we can steal his videos and DSP logos and such. Oh, that's a good point. He definitely has the Dark Side Phil brand, right? Like that's...
Oh, yeah, the King of Hate domain, all that stuff.
Yeah,
he's had that for years.
That's definitely a common law trademark. Because Darkside Phil is not his generic name.
No, it's his DBA, and his the King of Hate thing is something that he's done business under for a long time. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that he doesn't claim.
Man, that's amazing. Digibro's informant says, Null, Digibro's leafy friend named Ben Saint got Chris Chan to interact with him, and using that to promote himself. He also said the farms is really lame. They just keep saying, remember what Chris did something 8 years ago, and not talk about anything new.
Because Chris was funny 8 years ago, and now he's just a puppet for mentally ill spastics. That's why.
But Ben Saint must disagree.
Well, Ben Saint can eat shit. Because I don't know what's going on with Chris, but all those people should be in fucking prison for being psychotic, manipulative assholes.
I don't know who Ben Saint is.
I don't know who he is either.
Oh, okay, good. Let's see. There's just like 6 more, and then we'll be done. Raul Urbina says, after being unemployed since October, I finally got a job interview tomorrow. Wish me luck. Hey, good luck, buddy. Hopefully it works out for you. And you don't get killed or whatever. Asia Frazier says, save the bacon grease and saute spinach and garlic. Yes, you should do that. Bacon grease, also fried cabbage in bacon grease is delicious. Tech Nerd Gaming, thank you for the donation. Bad Vibe says, reproduction is funny. You should see your face. You should see your faces mid-coitus, from Dogma. Battleman 3 says, I want in on this before it's over. Rotten hell, Dave. Who's Dave?
Darkside Phil.
Oh, his name isn't Dave, is it? It's Phil.
For some reason they call him Dave. I can't remember why.
Okay.
Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure they'll sometimes call him Dave. I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about Dave. Rotting Damsel says, I work nights as a janitor, and you never fail to entertain during not only my long shift, but my hour-long drives to work and back. Thank you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Stooge Muffin Stuff, and this is the last one, then we'll wrap up the show. It says, watch the TIHYDP on Persona 3. Phil's Let's Play of Persona 3 was so bad that Atlas BTFO'd him, lol. Also, he stole money from his patrons. I watched him rage quit Persona 3 when he got charmed and his character healed the boss. And then...
Yeah, I've seen that.
He's like, this game isn't fair, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but a bunch of people beat Persona 3, so it must...
He beat Sekiro. I haven't beaten Sekiro. I remember when he beat Sekiro, it got posted all over V, and everyone was like, "You have no excuse now. Darkside Phil beat Sekiro. If you haven't beaten Sekiro, you're literally worse than Darkside Phil."
So
you
what
better get on
happens
this
if
shit.
I beat it before you do?
Oh fuck! Don't make that a thing. I will lose the thing because I'm bad at video games.
Because I just boomered through Dark Souls 1. I've never played a Souls game before, and I played.
Sekiro is my first too, and I've been told that Sekiro is really hard because you don't have rolls and stuff. You have to like actually parry.
Well, I heard Sekiro is hard if you played Souls games, but I've also heard that Sekiro is less hard.
Sekiro is hard.
I've heard it's less hard if you didn't play Souls games, though.
Because the main difference between the two is that Dark Souls relies on a mechanic of rolling and dodging. Sekiro does not. You cannot adequately dodge most things. You have to parry. There are certain moves that are big, that are heavy attacks that you have to get away from, but most of it is timing for parrying and getting counterattacks in. So if you are used to the roll mechanics of Dark Souls, you might try to roll away and keep getting hit. But if you, I've never played Dark Souls. I think I played the original up until the first boss, and then I gave up.
God, quitter.
For Sekiro is hard for me, but it's awkward for people who have mastered Dark Souls, I think.
Well, we'll have to see. Maybe I'll make it a competition that you won't be aware of. That's how you really do things. Then I'll just proclaim victory over you at some point.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, I do have one more legal thing, and I've been saving this because I didn't want to bring it up in the middle of the stream and derail it. But there is ongoing litigation which started up in December, and which is probably going to be very messy and kind of, it's not like a comedy routine. It's like two people completely ruining their lives. Can you guess what field of law I'm getting into?
Does this involve you?
No, it is low tax.
Yes, low tax with his non-citizen wife. He didn't legalize her papers after they got married, so she's still an immigrant even though they're married. And that's a misconception, and like that can take a very long time. After marriage. But sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
At some point, and I don't know the full details, she took their daughter, who was a toddler aged, and moved into a different state which had better protection for women, and is basically just hiding in a women's shelter. And she has as her representation a pro bono attorney from a charity organization that protects women who are immigrants who are in financially dominated situations where their husband.
That's a motivated person.
Well, the guy that she has is like he's like you kind of, in that he became a lawyer late in his life. Yeah, he was first I don't remember what he did first. He's like a car salesman or something, I want to say. I don't know if that's right, but he became a lawyer later. And now he did his own law firm for 3 years, and now he does pro bono for this organization. Meanwhile, Low Tax recently set up a Patreon and got $15,000 a month to begin with. And he has tens of thousands of dollars in savings. It's dropped off by like half at this point. It's down to like 8,000. But he has money, and his attorney is like the most vicious, highly regarded family attorney in all of Missouri. And so it's like this charity worker guy who's like fresh faced, just out of college, versus a senior counsel at a large family law firm in Missouri who's been a lawyer since 1993. And they're going to be butting heads over the issue of her leaving. And I'm sure that it's already like a really shitty situation. And from what I've been told by secondhand sources is that Low Tax is blaming her for the forum making fun of him and making fun and hurting his business. And so I feel really bad for her, you know, and I'm not always like a believe Lemon type person. So she could be lying. She claimed that he abused her, but it was like an emotional kind of abuse.
Sure.
But he's conflating it where he's saying she said I abused her, but then in court she said I didn't abuse her. Well, she said in court that he didn't physically abuse her.
Right.
So he's being extremely manipulative, and anyone asking questions about it on something awful is banned. And it's going to be a really, really messy, because he wants to fuck her. He wants to fuck her and get that kid back. And he's also filing against his previous ex-wife for mandatory visitation from their other kid, and he's crowdfunded tens of thousands of dollars to renovate his website and get new software and stuff, and it's all being pumped directly into the super lawyer family attorney to fuck all these women that he's had in his life that he has vendettas against now.
That's great. That seems like a disaster.
And I even said, I put out to the people, I don't know if they're actually ferreting messages or what, but I said, like, if required, I will gladly sign an affidavit saying that I have never been convinced by any person or encouraged by this person to defame Low Tax's character. I'm not at behest of anyone. So
I do that on my own.
Yeah, I do that for fun. That's the job description. So I don't know. I think it's going to be really messy, and I don't know how much of it's going to be public because it involves minor children and that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to be
one thing I'll say is family law is this great place where this super crazy lawyer blah blah blah. I don't put any. Well, I usually just don't have any respect for other lawyers anyway. So I don't put much stock in that. But my first case that I took was a family law case against a 30-year family law practitioner. And I stomped the shit out of her at every single hearing. It was great. And we won on every single issue. What?
Representing the women in the case?
I was.
Okay. We're doing good. We got Team Fresh Face over here. We're stacking the chips in our favor.
Yeah, it was this. It was a great case. The dad. It wasn't. They were never married, but the dad, was beating on the kid and beat up the mom and stuff, and then she got a restraining order against him and stuff like that. But then he didn't want to pay child support for the time that he was away from the restraining order because he didn't think that was fair. It's like, well, you still have to pay child support under Minnesota law. Like that doesn't change just because you chose to beat them and get a restraining order.
Yeah, and it's crazy because she set up an emergency GoFundMe. Mm-hmm. She wanted $3,000 to cover living expenses while she's in the shelter because there's other stuff you need that the shelter doesn't provide. And he threatened her. It says on the thing, like, for obvious reasons, I had to take this down. And it's like he went after his child's like TARP fund from strangers, and I donated to it, and I think that's why he thinks I'm like coordinating with her to attack him or something. But it's extremely strange, and it's like surely it's $3,000. He's making $9,000 on Patreon. He shouldn't be going after this woman's his wife and the mother of his child, the current custodian of his child. Shouldn't be going after that money.
Listen to you. The violins are playing.
I know. I'm just saying. It's going to be.
Isn't he the guy who did that Cliff Yablonsky hates you or whatever? Wasn't that Low Tax?
Low Tax? No, I don't know that one. I'm not up to date on my Something Awful lore. That was something that was parallel and before my time.
Can the chat help me out? I feel like he did the Cliff Yablonsky.
Look, people are calling me a white knight for that. Like, why? I don't like Low Tax. Okay, you have to understand that Low Tax is a pill addict who has promised the world to his forum 1,000 times over and has never delivered on it. And after she left and took the kid, his own daughter, who was like 13, started publicly ridiculing him on Facebook, saying that of course this happened. So no, the entire world, there's no reason to support Low Tax. He is utter and complete shit. He takes the path of least resistance whenever possible, and the only reason why he's trying here is because he wants to fuck people.
Hey, when are you coming to the US next?
Soon, because I have to get the fuck out of Europe. They want me gone.
I gotta get you a Something Sexual shirt, so you just wear that wherever you end up.
No,
it just says Something Sexual. That's all.
I can't wear that.
Why not?
Lewd. That's because it says something sexual.
It would cost more than half of your wardrobe. that you've described to me, so you got to wear it. What about an Ahageo shirt?
I don't know what that is. I don't speak anime.
Oh, yes, you do. Don't lie to me.
No, I don't.
You know
What's
all of the degenerate things on the internet.
Oh,
the anime O-face, yeah.
Okay. No.
Do you wear a 5X? Would you fit in a 5X?
Yeah, of course. Let's wait. That's like 3 sizes too big for me.
Yeah, well, I figured it was too big for you, but would you wear one? What if I gave you an Ahageo 5X t-shirt?
I'm not wearing these things in public. I like to wear because that's embarrassing. I don't want look. I enjoy my privacy. I don't want these anime. I don't want any association with the anime.
What? It's embarrassing. Oh man. Okay, Matt Schrodinger says Dave is a Tevin meme. Fun fact, a fan made him a new layout on Twitch, but he actually snuck in a bunch of memes and even Tevin's face on the banner. Howling Warwolf says Dean Takahashi is actually worse than DSP. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Dean Takahashi is. Do you know who that is?
No.
You're supposed to know everything about the internet. You're my culture expert.
Oh my god, I'm behind the times, I guess.
And then Rotting Damsel says, Vic thing went down last year, the day before my birthday, and it was hard to find someone covering the content in a way I felt gave the topic justice, but you did that and have continued to. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, there will be more to come. Well, man, I think that's about a show.
Yeah.
So thanks for walking me through the issues of DSP's filings. They seem to be a disaster. At first I was like, oh, there's some discrepancies, but as we go through,
no, everything's wrong. I mean, every point of action can be questioned and scrutinized more. I don't know. I don't know. He has an uncanny ability to fall on his feet. So I'm curious to see if he can get out of this unscathed. But people are naturally pessimistic when it comes to the law, and people we talk about in the forum, they look at this and say, oh, he's going to jail for perjury. It's like, no, come on, be rational. They don't put people in jail for shit. There's no debtor's prison anymore.
Yeah, the perjury is really, really, really tough, and they tend to give people a lot of chances to correct it. A more likely outcome would be like Anonymous mentioned, the sanctions, where the sanction would be that you just don't get your bankruptcy protection because you lied like a dummy, or some other type of sanction where maybe you just don't get your Chapter 7 sanction. They sanction you out of that and force you into Chapter 13. But I think if he's honest about his income, then Chapter 13 is where he belongs anyway. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep an eye out for what's going on.
Because it'll be interesting if the details. I'm hoping to see the details of both DSP and Lotex's finances over time, because I would love to see where that money goes. Because I think she's going to use his finances to say, like, he has all this money, but he's spending it. From what I understand, he started shilling this like Uber Eats type thing where you buy pre-cooked meals, and he's been buying like $50 meat pies off
Blue
the
Apron
internet
or whatever.
Yeah, and so he's been eating like $1,000 like fancy food in a box. So when it comes time for the line item, it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, especially because if she gets custody, well, even if she doesn't, like the amount that they each make is going to matter. Both of their incomes will matter. So Lotax will have to justify his income, and if he's got like a $9,000 Patreon, he's going to have to justify why he doesn't actually have $9,000 a month coming in, because maybe he spends $5,000 a month on his business too, but then people are going to wonder why the forums of Something Awful aren't improving or whatever. There'll be a interesting.
Oh yeah, if his finances are as bad as people speculate they are, like the forum should riot. Because they gave him like $100,000 to upgrade his form to Zen 402, and all these years later, he's spent it on is meat pies and super lawyers apparently.
Yeah, well, it's always good to put a lawyer's kids through college. That's what you want to do with your life. Best plan on earth is to put your lawyer's kids through college and not yours. Okay, last chat of the night, and then let's say goodbye. Stooge Muffin Stuffin says, Dean is the tard who couldn't finish the Cuphead tutorial. He's that games journalist.
Okay, I know who he's talking about then.
Yeah, that guy sucks. All right, stream. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And is there anything you want to plug or say or do or whatever?
Okay. There's two different things. I am currently financing a new server for my poor Kiwi farms. It is suffering. Completely unrelated. I also do a podcast at matattheinternet.com, which you can financially support there. So those two things. If you want to check out the forum, it's kiwifarms.net. If you want to support the podcast, totally unrelated, matattheinternet.com, and that's it.
How do people help you fund the server?
I'm going to do a merchandise run, and I want to sell stickers with the forum logo on it, like little itty bitty stickers. And I want people to buy the sticker rolls and go to their universities and put the logos all over everything. And then when the trainees come to the school and they see the logos, they'll freak out. And people will be like, why are these innocuous looking stickers causing so much mental agony? And they'll have to explain that.
That sounds good. How much do you need to raise for the server? Like, I have no idea what this type of stuff costs. Or do you not want to discuss that?
No, I'll admit it. It's going to be expensive. I would like when I go through it and I look at suggestions and what the hardware would be for an upgrade, and specifically for the storage we need for all the static files and to keep it future proofed for the next few years, it's probably going to be about $5,000 per server. So that's a lot of stickers.
Well, talk to me in private, and I'll see if I can help too. Because I have beliefs that must be upheld.
The sticker related beliefs.
Sticker related beliefs. Maybe I can charity fund a bunch of stickers for people to take to colleges, because I'm not allowed on college campuses or whatever.
Are you banned? You can't do speeches at colleges?
No, I haven't done any, so I must be.
Yeah, try.
I'm kind of a big deal. I should be on every college campus. I should be speaking at weddings and funerals and everything. Yeah,
you should encourage people to go into copyright law so they can screw over YouTube.
That would be good. That would be good. God, that'd be great. Well, anyway, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, guys. Check out the show. I'm not doing Twitch tonight because I'm dead tired. But Greer stream is soon. I got to just organize with Sriracha to figure out when we can do it. But anyways, y'all have a good night. Peace.
Take it easy.
Peace.